Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Confessing in Public. Ding, the hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Make Zhao Lingxian have a favorable impression of you. Quest time limit, 3 months, 7 days have passed. Successfully completing the quest will result in you formally opening the hedonist sovereign system and gaining 3 lottery chances. Failing will reduce the host's lifespan by 3 years. Go screw yourself. Qin Feng was lying on his desk and happily playing on his phone when a cold electronic voice sounded out in his mind. He was so shocked that his mouth furiously chewed and he jumped up from his seat, cursing out loud. He was currently in his art class at the lecture hall, and all the other students were engaged in the lesson. Their gazes were all attracted by his sudden outburst, and they looked at him in curiosity. The incredibly quiet and constrained atmosphere of the lecture hall immediately burst into noise. The lecturer for this art class was the Acropolis University's publicly acknowledged #1 beautiful teacher, Yun Xiao. She was 25 years old and was at the peak of her beauty. She wasn't much older than the rest of her university students, so she found it difficult to contain problem students during her classes. She had finally managed to control the atmosphere when it had been disrupted once again by Qin Feng. Yun Xiao glared at him furiously and wished that she could bite him to death. Soon, her perfect face calmed down, though her eyes were still filled with iciness. She stood up straight with her slim and beautiful legs, her large chest heaving as she did her best to control her emotions. Phew. Finally, Yun Xiao let out a long breath, but didn't explode into anger. After all, who was Qin Feng? A young master hedonist who was famous throughout the entire Acropolis University. He had an extraordinary background and was a lady killer. His father, Qin Huang, was the richest man in Acropolis City and invested money every year to expand the university. As the honorary principal's son, she couldn't do anything about him, no matter how unbridled his actions were. Qin Feng, please obey the class rules. All right, everyone calm down. Let's continue. Yun Xiao glowered at Qin Feng, but she was at her wits' end with this young master hedonist. She suppressed the discontent within her and continued to lecture. Qin Feng didn't pay any attention to Yun Xiao's words and paid even less attention to the strange stares that people were shooting him. After mumbling to himself angrily, he sat back on his seat as if nothing had happened. However, his eyebrows remained frowned. Fudge. The hell is this? Could this young master really have been possessed by a spirit? It was the 7th day. It was the 7th day since Qin Feng had started hearing that voice in his head. He would hear that cold electronic voice in his head every day, and the content was the same every time. It would always tell him to make Zhao Lingxian have a favorable impression of him. Qin Feng inwardly laughed. Rubbish. This was a complete truckload of rubbish. After all, who was Zhao Lingxian? Zhao Lingxian was the most beautiful girl in the Acropolis University's arts department and had a remarkable background. She was a Ms. Perfect, who was fair-skinned, rich, and beautiful. She was a goddess who was out of everyone's reach and someone who almost every guy at the Acropolis University dreamed of. However, this was completely different with Qin Feng. A week ago, he had publicly announced at the Acropolis University campus that he was canceling the marriage between Zhao Lingxian and himself. Marriage? How could a young master hedonist like Qin Feng agree to such a thing? Who cares if you're a goddess or a succubus? Marriage was simply a prison. Qin Feng absolutely didn't want to get married and ruin the rest of his romantic life. Sleeping around and enjoying the pleasures of life was what this young master Qin Feng wanted. As such, telling him to make Zhao Lingxian have a favorable impression of him was simply ridiculous. He had dumped her in public, so he was absolutely certain that she would rather get together with a gorilla than have a favorable impression of him. In fact, she probably wanted to kill Qin Feng. Ahahaha, looks like my kidney deficiency has been making me have delusions. I'll have to do some proper recovering when I get back. Qin Feng evilly smiled and shook his head, clearing his mind of all the messy thoughts. He then looked to Lin Beibei sitting next to him, and his smile grew wider. An absolute angelic beauty. Amen. Lin Beibei, who was intently focused on the lesson, suddenly felt a large hand land on her leg. She was so shocked that she almost cried out, and she hurriedly tried to move away. She turned her teary eyes to look at Qin Feng's grinning face. "Bei, why are you sitting so far away? Don't fall down." Qin Feng moved closer to Lin Bei and sniffed her neck, causing her to move halfway off her chair. Her pitiful look would melt even the most unsympathetic heart. "Young Master Qin, please spare me. My family's poor. I'm ugly and I have an ordinary body. There's nothing good about me." Qin Feng was the #1 hedonist of the Acropolis University. Although he had no evil intentions, he was incredibly flirtatious. According to the rumors, he had slept with hundreds of women. A young master hedonist like Qin Feng was someone who a poor, pure girl like Lin Bei feared the most. He was like a demon from hell. Bei's quite good at joking. If you're ugly, then there aren't any women in the whole Acropolis University. If you have an ordinary body, then everyone else at the Acropolis University are pigs. Ling Bei's eyes flashed with fear and disgust. Qin Feng pretended that he didn't see and looked up and down her body. He didn't even try to hide his wandering eyes. However, Qin Feng's words weren't just for flirting or flattery. He had seen many, many beauties, but very few could compare with Lin Bei. This, combined with her gentle and weak personality, would give any man the urge to protect her. Qin Feng had sat at the same table as her for half a year. He had put in much effort over the past half a year, but the girl simply wasn't interested in riches or power. He didn't know how to win her over. "I say, Bei, why is your face so red?" "Aya, and it's quite hot as well." "Bei, don't tell me that you're sick." While Lin Bei had her defenses lowered, Qin Feng grinned and squeezed her cheek. He knew that she would turn red and heat up when she was embarrassed, but pretended that he was concerned about her being sick. "Young Master Qin, you?" Lin Bei was so flustered that she couldn't react, which allowed Qin Feng to take advantage of her. She was so furious that she gnashed her teeth, but she didn't dare to anger Qin Feng because of his background. She could only ball her hands into fists, as tears of indignance started to well up in her eyes. This Qin Feng was simply too shameless. "Ding! The hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Declare your intentions to chase after Lin Bei in public. Quest time limit: 1 day. Successfully completing the quest will result in you formally opening the hedonist sovereign system and gaining 3 lottery chances. Failing will reduce the host's lifespan by 1 year." Qin Feng was currently grinning and preparing to touch Lin Bei's silky and cool legs again, when the cold electronic voice once again sounded out in his mind. He was so shocked that he almost fell off his chair. After a while, Qin Feng slowly recovered. He thought about the voice he had heard and his hands trembled. After mulling it over for a while, he slapped his hand onto the table and shot to his feet, loudly saying, "I, Qin Feng, am declaring in front of my teacher and classmates that I am going to chase after the arts department's #2 beauty, Lin Bei." No matter if it was true or not, Qin Feng simply didn't want to gamble with 1 year of his life. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Hedonist Sovereign System. Whoa! Just as Qin Feng spoke, the lecture hall with 100 or so people exploded into a frenzy. Everyone howled inwardly and countless stares were directed towards him. Many of them were filled with dangerous messages. The most savage gaze came from Yun Xiao. Just as she had settled down the class, Qin Feng, that bastard, had ruined everything again. In that moment, she even felt like killing him. Lin Bei was the #2 beauty in the Acropolis University's arts department, but she came from a poor family and didn't have a noble background like Zhao Lingxian. However, every single guy still desired her. In fact, she probably had more admirers at the Acropolis University than Zhao Lingxian. One of them was an unattainable empress. The other was a celestial beauty living in the mortal realm. When Qin Feng declared in front of everyone that he was going to chase Lin Bei, all of her admirers were filled with hate, to the point that they wanted to go and defile his ancestors' graves. Qin Feng wasn't good for much, but he was called Seducer Sage. He would sleep with any woman that caught his eye. It looked like the pure goddess Lin Bei would also fall into his demonic hands. After sighing, the crowd thought of something more interesting and looked towards the other side of the lecture hall. The beautiful woman coldly sat there, like a crane in a flock of chickens. Her perfect face seemed to be layered with frost, but her clear eyes burned with fire. She glared at Qin Feng, who was laughing and joking around, and bit her lips as if she wanted to bite him to death. The woman was the iceberg goddess, the #1 beauty of the arts department. Zhao Lingxian had renounced her marriage with Qin Feng. Re-eyeing. The bell signaling the end of the lesson rang out, breaking the strange scene in the lecture hall. Lin Beibei hated standing out and simply could not remain calm. She hurriedly packed her things like a drowning man clutching at a straw and rushed off as soon as she heard the bell. She never thought that Qin Feng would confess to her in public. Did he eat the wrong medicine today? The instigator of this incident, Qin Feng, calmly sat down. He simply didn't care about the stares everyone was shooting him given his confident and relaxed personality. Of course, he was currently flabbergasted. Completely and utterly flabbergasted. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng. You have completed the quest to declare your intentions to chase after Lin Beibei in public. You have successfully opened the Hedonist sovereign system. His mind was suddenly filled with darkness, and all of his thoughts disappeared. All that remained was a dark, spiraling hole. Are you the #1 hedonist, young master? Qin Feng narrowed his eyes, as if someone had stolen his soul. However, he unhesitatingly nodded, replying, I am. In the Acropolis city, if Qin Feng said he was the #1 hedonist young master, no one else would dare to claim this title. Then do you wish to be the #1 hedonist young master in the universe? I do. Qin Feng nodded resolutely without even thinking. Very good. In the world of sensual pleasures, danger lurks around every corner. Life is a game, and the game is life. The voice that came from the hole suddenly disappeared, and a cold electronic voice spoke. Ding! Congratulations to host Qin Feng for opening the Hedonist sovereign system. The system will issue quests, creating a universe. The system currently has 3 free lottery chances. Would you like to use them? When the ancient, magical voice disappeared, the dark hole in Qin Feng's mind spun, turning into a large crystal screen. There was a large spinning wheel on the screen, filled with various prizes, weapons, skills, potions, pets, and so on. The reason Qin Feng had stood up to publicly confess to Lin Beibei was to see if he had been possessed by an evil spirit. However, after hearing that ancient voice and seeing the spinning wheel in front of him, he started to wonder if he had gone crazy. What the hell? I don't believe it. Give this young master a spin. After thinking about it, Qin Feng decided that he hadn't been possessed by an evil spirit. It must have been that he was too weary, and everything that had happened was a hallucination. He was now trying to prove his hypothesis. As he gave the command, the spinning wheel started to rotate faster and faster, until he couldn't see the words on there anymore, only a wheel of spinning light. After nearly half a minute, it started to slow down. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have drawn elementary piano skills. Qin Feng nearly spat out blood. This hallucination was quite realistic. He furiously shook his head and gritted his teeth as he yelled, Give this young master another spin. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have drawn elementary calligraphy skills. Fudge! It's still here? I don't believe it again. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have drawn elementary Thunder Tiger Fist skill. The crystal screen in his mind disappeared, as did the cold electronic voice. Everything became silent again. Everything had happened so quickly that it seemed like it was just his imagination. Phew! Qin Feng wiped the sweat off his forehead and let out a long breath. The noises in his head were gone, and everything had returned to normal. If this went on, Qin Feng believed that he would go insane. Just as he had let out half of his breath, his expression changed, as if he had seen a ghost. He was so shocked that his eyes almost popped out and fell to the ground. A wave of pain swept through his brain and within his memories, unfamiliar yet familiar. It was knowledge from the 3 skills he had just obtained: piano, calligraphy, and the fighting technique. No way. Could all of that have been real? Qin Feng couldn't help but shiver and couldn't sit still. He thought for a long time and decided to try out these 3 skills to see if he had really gone crazy or not. By the time he stood up, he was the only person left in the lecture hall. Everyone else had already gone home. He couldn't find a writing brush, so he just used a gel pen instead. He started to quickly write on paper, and a standard-looking, beautifully written character appeared on the piece of paper. He had lived for 20 years, but had never learned calligraphy before. In fact, he didn't even know how to hold a writing brush properly. However, now, whenever he thought of a writing brush, he had the urge and knowledge to pick it up and write. Qin Feng shook himself out of his daze and suddenly looked at his fists and started to use the fighting technique that he had just learned. The Thunder Tiger fists were vigorous and mighty, causing wind to be kicked up by his movements. Qin Feng executed the moves like flowing water, as if he had trained for 10 or so years. This was simply incomprehensible to the young Master Qin, who had never really even exercised before in his life. At this moment, Qin Feng was certain that he hadn't been possessed by an evil spirit, much less gone crazy. He had, out of the blue, received some sort of mysterious system, an incredibly awesome system, one that would carry him to new heights. Ding! The Hedonist Sovereign System has issued a quest. Make Zhao Lingxian have a favorable impression of you. Quest time limit, 3 months. 7 days have passed. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 200 Hedonist points as a reward. Failing will reduce the host's lifespan by 3 years. Fudge. The incredibly excited Qin Feng felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured on him. Only after confirming the existence of the system did he realize how difficult this quest was. Make Zhao Lingxian have a favorable impression of him? That was pretty much impossible. If he failed this quest, he would lose 3 years of his lifespan. He felt like running into a wall and dying. After a while, Qin Feng gradually calmed down and accepted the reality of the system. After doing some investigating, he found that apart from the free lottery chances, he could also use his hedonist points to buy lottery chances, items, skills, and the like, as well as level up skills and activate powers. In order to obtain hedonist points, he needed to do quests. After thinking about the heaven-defying skills and equipment on offer in the hedonist sovereign system, Qin Feng's eyes became red. He inwardly yelled, "Quests! Quests! This young master wants quests." Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Saving the Beautiful Teacher. By the time Qin Feng had calmed down and walked out of the Acropolis University campus, it had become dark. He came to a black Lamborghini Batmobile and pressed the keys in his hand. Just as he was about to get in, his gaze was drawn to a familiar figure. Isn't that the beautiful teacher, Yun Xiao? Looking at her shapely backside, Qin Feng's eyes lit up. This teacher was still quite young, and was only 4 years older than him. She was beautiful and had a nice figure, and Qin Feng had had his eyes on her for a while. Currently, Yun Xiao was surrounded by 3 large and muscular men. From their savage gazes, it looked like they were up to no good. Yun Xiao frowned, looking incredibly cold, and bit her lips. She shouted at the 3 muscular men for a while before being hustled onto a black Volkswagen Santana. Looks like the beautiful teacher is in trouble. Seeing that scene, Qin Feng smirked. As a hedonist young master, he had no intention of saving her, and was too lazy to even call the police. He simply laughed as he shook his head, and started up his Lamborghini, preparing to go to the bar to celebrate the appearance of the hedonist sovereign system. As well as hook up with a few beauties, of course. That was his real goal. Ding! The hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Save the beautiful teacher Yun Xiao. Quest time limit, 1 day. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 50 hedonist points as a reward. Failing will result in the host not having any sexual intimacy for half a year. Goddamn it. This sudden quest caused Qin Feng's hands to shake, making him nearly crash into a tree. In the next second, he unhesitatingly stomped on the brakes, then turned to chase after the old Santana. He inwardly screamed, This system's punishments are way too damning. No sexual intimacy for half a year? This was the cruelest punishment Qin Feng had seen. Qin Feng's driving skills were quite good, and he was able to easily follow behind the car. Finally, the Santana stopped in front of the royal clubhouse. Half a minute later, the three muscular men got off, then surrounded Yuan Shao and walked in. Seeing this scene, Qin Feng's mouth curved upwards. The royal clubhouse was Acropolis City's #1 clubhouse. The people who came here were all high officials and people from powerful families. Possessing wealth without having a membership card was not enough to go in. The most important thing was that the royal clubhouse was the property of Qin Feng's father, Qin Huang. If he wanted to save Yuan Shao from here, it would be a piece of cake. Young Master Qin, you've come. The 4 security officers at the door hurriedly came over with smiles on their faces. The head security officer had a big smile on his face and said in a low voice as he came over to Qin Feng, "Young Master Qin, a university student came to the clubhouse. I saw her myself. She looks incredibly pretty, like a little goddess. I heard she's one of the prettiest women at the Acropolis University. Young Master, Manager Liu has already arranged things so that you can be the one to savor her first." Qin Feng often came to the royal clubhouse during his free time, and all of the managers and security officers knew him and his interests well. Playing with beauties. Qin Feng's eyes lit up. One of the Acropolis University's beauties? He definitely knew her then. However, remembering that he hadn't completed Yuan Zhao's quest yet, the light in his eyes disappeared and he suppressed the urges within him. Ahem, go and call Manager Liu for me. This young master has important things to take care of. Qin Feng awkwardly cleared his throat, walked into the clubhouse, and sat down on a sofa in the main hall. Yes, sir. The head security officer grinned and ran off to find Manager Liu. Evidently, he had misunderstood what the important things were. Less than 1 minute later, the chubby Manager Liu jogged over to Qin Feng, wiping the sweat from his face as he vulgarly smiled. Young Master Qin, everything has been prepared. A virgin beauty from the Acropolis University is waiting for you in room 888. I'll take you there immediately. Qin Feng's mouth chewed and he frowned as he kicked Manager Liu's leg, saying seriously, "Screw off. Is this young master someone who comes here only to play with women? Your elder is here on serious business." Serious business? Wasn't that just seducing women? Manager Liu was quite unhappy about suddenly being kicked, but he didn't dare to show it. He continued to beam as he asked, "Young master, what serious business do you have? If you need me to do anything, just say the words." Qin Feng looked down as he played on his phone, saying, Just then 3 big blockheads brought in a beauty. Go and find out which room they took her to. I'll be right back. The royal clubhouse was incredibly strict about the privacy and confidentiality of patrons. However, if the owner's son wanted information, Manager Liu would definitely get it. He immediately made a call to the front reception and made some inquiries. Less than 1 minute later, Manager Liu came back with a big smile on face, evidently trying to curry favor, and said, "Young Master Qin, the 4 of them are in room 1201. Bring 4 security officers and come with me." Qin Feng suppressed the joy in his heart. Who would have thought that he would be able to complete the quest so easily? Qin Feng was already looking forward to spending the 50 hedonist points on goods from the system. Young Master Qin. Just as Qin Feng started to talk, Manager Liu awkwardly called out. Young Master Ma was the one who booked room 1201. Young Master Ma? The Dragon Security Group's Young Master Ma? Qin Feng asked while frowning. Manager Liu felt the coldness emanating from Qin Feng's body and didn't dare to look at him in the eyes. He was a 40-year-old man, and yet he could only nod with his head lowered like a child who had done something wrong. Young Master Ma, Ma De Hu, his father, Ma De Long, had single-handedly established the Dragon City Group, the largest security corporation in the Acropolis City. Nearly half of the security officers in the royal clubhouse were hired from them. Qin Feng also knew that Ma De Long was in control of the underworld of the southeast of the Acropolis City. Despite knowing this, Qin Feng wouldn't give up on this quest because the punishment was far too severe. Young Master Ma? So what? Bring the Qin family's personal security officers and come with me. Yes, sir. Manager Lu hurriedly ran off to call the security officers. Since Qin Feng was determined to cause trouble for young Master Ma, Manager Lu could only follow his orders. After all, Qin Feng was Qin Huang's only son and had a higher status than Ma Dehu. Soon, Manager Lu brought over 6 well-built security officers. All of them were trained by and loyal to the Qin family, trustworthy and incredibly strong like oxen. Qin Feng looked at the muscular men and nodded in satisfaction. He stood up and walked in front of the 7 people and waved, confidently saying, "Let's go. This young master has some important matters to take care of." The 8 of them walked off in a grandiose manner towards room 1201. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Misunderstood. When they arrived at room 1201, Qin Feng lifted up his right hand, and the 6 security officers behind him hurriedly stopped. Manager Lu wiped the sweat off his forehead as he understood Qin Feng's intention and came up to press on the doorbell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The doorbell rang a few times, but there was no sound from within the room. Qin Feng raised his eyebrows and felt a bit frustrated. He was just about to order the 6 security officers to barge in when an annoyed voice sounded out. "Who is it? So noisy. Do you have to repeatedly press the doorbell? This room doesn't need any service, so go away." Manager Lu saw Qin Feng's eyebrows rise and silently cursed the brat in the room for being so obnoxious. He maintained the smile on his face as he courteously said, "I'm the Royal Clubhouse's Manager Lu. Please open the door so we can do our routine inspection." Anyone who came to the Royal Clubhouse regularly would know that there were no routine inspections. After all, with Qin Huang's power and background, neither officials nor gangsters would dare to make trouble for him. Gotcha. The room fell silent for a while, and room 1201's door was suddenly opened. A young man wearing a suit and formal clothing came out. It was Ma Dehu. He glanced at Manager Lu and the security officers, and then at Qin Feng. A look of suspicion and anxiety appeared on his face, but he quickly recovered. "Haha, if it isn't young Master Qin. I'm honored that you would personally come to do a routine inspection. Please quickly come in." Ma Dehu smiled and stood aside. Qin Feng couldn't care less about the act Ma Dehu was putting on. He strode in and sat down on a sofa in the living room. He put his feet on the coffee table as he looked around. The 3 muscular men from the Santana stood outside the door to the main bedroom, looking at Qin Feng in displeasure. "Young Master Qin, there's really nothing to inspect here. This is your father's territory, and I naturally wouldn't dare to make any trouble here. I'm a bit tired today, so if young Master Qin doesn't have any matters, I'll be retiring to the bedroom to get some rest," Ma Dehu said as he smiled, making his intention clear. He wanted to chase them out. "Haha, then go and sleep, young Master Ma. Manager Lu, start the inspection. Young Master Ma is staying here for the night, so you have to make sure that this room is absolutely secure. I want you to inspect every corner of this place to make sure that everything is fine." Qin Feng glanced at Ma Dehu, then looked down and started to play on his phone. Ma Dehu's expression changed. A savage look flashed in his eyes, then disappeared. "Young Master Qin, what's the meaning of this?" Qin Feng slapped his legs and stood up. He couldn't be bothered wasting words with Ma Dehu. After all, he just wanted to quickly finish the quest and receive rewards. "Young Master Ma, our Royal Clubhouse has always acted with integrity and won't allow any criminal acts to happen within its premises. Kidnap and rape are things that I, young Master Qin, hate the most." "Young Master Ma, do you understand what I'm saying?" Qin Feng said as he looked into Ma Dehu's eyes. "Fudge. The Royal Clubhouse used to be a place to discuss business matters, but because of your hedonistic habits, bringing girls back all the time, it became a place for sensual pleasures." Ma Dehu's face darkened and silently cursed. He began to panic as he tried to think of why Qin Feng was determined to make him his enemy. Could it be that he had discovered his secret? Ma Dehu shook his head. He didn't believe that the plot had been exposed. Perhaps this was just a coincidence. He adopted a stronger tone as he looked right back at Qin Feng. Young Master Qin, are you sure you want to get involved in this? Young Master Ma, surely you're not threatening me, right? Qin Feng calmly looked at Mada who laughed and said, this young master is determined to get involved in this. Mada who cursed inwardly once again. He had wanted Yun Zhao's body for a long time, and had finally obtained her. Just as he was about to begin, he had been interrupted by Qin Feng. The two of them stared at each other, their cold gazes colliding in the air. The three muscular men came behind Ma Dahu, looking furiously at Qin Feng and the people behind him. It was as if the room was filled with gunpowder and could explode at any time. Haha, young Master Qin, I just remembered that I have some important matters to attend to. I'll be leaving first, so you enjoy yourself here. After the scene was frozen for half a minute, Mada, who suddenly smiled, looked at the three people behind him and walked out of room 1201. He couldn't afford to make mistakes at such a crucial time, and Qin Feng didn't show any signs of backing down at all. Haha, I thought a fight was going to break out, and yet he just left like that? So lame, Qin Feng said as he shook his head and waited as Ma Dahu and the others left. Inwardly, he was elated. He quickly rushed into the bedroom, and the scene that greeted him almost caused his eyeballs to fall out. Goddamn bondage. Yun Xiao was wearing black stockings and had been tied up with red rope. She was currently struggling as hard as she could, and looked absolutely stunning. The allure that she gave off was simply mesmerizing. Qin Feng had long since imagined this scene, and couldn't help but leap on her. Qin Feng, it's you. Qin Feng hugged her and took out the white cloth in her mouth that was used as a gag. Just as he was about to kiss her, a wave of pain tore through his arm. Ah, you dog. Yun Xiao was given a big fright and savagely bit onto his arm. Qin Feng leapt off the bed in pain and cursed as he looked at the bite marks on his arm. Qin Feng, you monster. You actually dared to kidnap me. You rapist, I'm going to report you to the police. Rapist me? Qin Feng pointed at himself and almost felt like crying. This young master came here to save you out of the kindness in his heart. Not only did you not weep tears of joy, but you actually bit me. And it was a savage bite at that. However, Qin Feng quickly realized that he had been misunderstood by Yun Xiao. She definitely thought that it was him who had ordered those men to kidnap her so he could rape her. Even though Qin Feng loved to play around with women, he disdained doing anything that would go against their will. You're so damn ungrateful. Screw it all. Looking at the beautiful teacher who had almost lost all rationality, Qin Feng's anger receded, but he couldn't be bothered to explain the truth. He told Manager Lu to untie her and take care of everything else. I completed the quest, so why hasn't the system given an announcement? Qin Feng frowned as he lay on the sofa. After a while, there was still no response from the system. He looked at the quest and confirmed that it was just to save Yun Xiao. He had evidently saved her, so why was there still nothing? Could it be that he really had gone crazy? After playing on his phone on the sofa for a while, Qin Feng suddenly thought of something. It was possible that Mada, who still hadn't given up and was thinking of kidnapping Yun Xiao again after she left the royal clubhouse. That was definitely it. After thinking, Qin Feng rushed out of the clubhouse and got into his black Lamborghini Batmobile, just in time to see Mada, whose three thugs drag Yun Xiao into a van. What an unlucky woman. Qin Feng shook his head in awe and his gaze became cold. This Mada, who was quite brave, to be daring to do such a thing. Qin Feng could feel his rage building up. He had nearly destroyed an entire family group before for a woman. This sort of provocation exceeded his limits. He followed behind the van and came to the suburban region of the Acropolis city. They finally stopped near an abandoned factory. Chapter 5. Chapter 5. Crawling Between Legs. Qin Feng wasn't in a hurry to get out of the car and continued to observe the van. Less than a minute after the van stopped, three muscular men pulled a struggling Yun Xiao out of the van and dragged her towards the abandoned factory. Qin Feng definitely wouldn't have been stupid enough to go against these guys when he was younger. As the son of the richest man in the city, he had been born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Whenever he went out, he would go in a luxury car and would have many bodyguards. Most importantly, he had been incredibly spoiled since he was young, and didn't even have the strength to string up a chicken. Beating these 3 men would have been a joke even to him. However, with a quest at hand, Qin Feng thought differently. Before, he had obtained the elementary Thunder Tiger fists. This fighting technique was embedded deep into his memory, as if he had been practicing for over 10 years. It was because of that curiosity and impulse that he wanted to try it out on a few people to see how strong it was. And now, there were people to test it on right in front of him. "Hey, brothers, what are you doing with this woman? If it's anything fun, let me in on it too." Qin Feng suddenly spoke. The empty factory was incredibly quiet, and only the wind could be heard. As such, Qin Feng's voice sounded quite loud, instantly attracting the attention of the 3 men. When the 3 men saw Qin Feng, they looked utterly shocked. Even Yuan Shao, who had been thrashing about, stared silently. No one would have thought that the #1 hedonist young master in the Acropolis city would have followed them to such a place. Moreover, as soon as he spoke, he had displayed his personality. "Haha, young Master Qin, we hope that you won't interfere in this matter." The strange atmosphere persisted for a bit longer before the scar-faced leader broke the silence. The scar extended from the corner of his eye to his chin, making him look especially savage in the darkness. Before, at the royal clubhouse, the 3 men were quite annoyed at Qin Feng. However, because Mada who hadn't said anything, they didn't dare to make a ruckus. After all, they were on Qin Feng's territory. However, right now, they were at a remote area. The situation was completely different. "He, brothers, don't be so selfish. 1 extra person is just an extra stick. It's the same." Qin Feng laughed as he walked over, coming closer and closer to the 3 people. He pretended to come closer with lewd motives so that he could suddenly attack and surprise them. "Qin Feng, you beast. I'm your teacher, and yet you have such disgusting thoughts. Qin Feng, I want to kill you." Yuan Shao didn't scream for help, but rather started to curse at Qin Feng. Qin Feng grinned even wider. He was now less than 5 meters away from the 3 men. "Young Master Qin, it's best if you don't come any closer. Otherwise, us 3 brothers won't be able to show you courtesy anymore," the Scarface said coldly in a low voice as he seemed to realize what Qin Feng was trying to do. Qin Feng pretended that he didn't hear the man's words, and continued to smile while walking forwards. His hands were already gripped into fists, preparing to attack at any moment. "Teacher Yuan Shao, I've actually been fantasizing about you for a long time." "You beast, Qin Feng, you're worse than a beast." Yuan Shao was so angry that she forgot that she had been kidnapped. She glared at him coldly with her beautiful eyes, as if she wanted to use her eyes to kill this shameless and loose young master. The Scarface's expression darkened, and he said to the bald man beside him in a low voice, "This guy came by himself, and I don't know what he's up to. Young Master Ma's pretty unhappy with him already. So OL3, you go and teach him a good lesson." Roger, the baldy referred to as OL3, patted his hands as he grinned evilly and walked over to Qin Feng. To these people, Qin Feng was just an idle, hedonist young master who only knew how to seduce women. The baldy was completely confident against such a physically weak young master. "Young Master Qin, if you want to join us to play with this woman, your big bro here will help you relax your body first and do some exercise. That way, you'll be able to perform to the best of your ability later," the baldy said mockingly as he looked at Qin Feng condescendingly. In his eyes, Qin Feng was like a little sheep who had walked into a pack of wolves and was waiting to die. "Haha, it's all right. That won't be necessary. This young master has always had his massages done by tender hands. If I get a massage from this bearded baldy, I'll probably get nightmares when I go back." Qin Feng joked around as if he was relaxed, but he was completely alert and kept a watch on the baldy. The baldy wasn't nervous at all, and he walked towards Qin Feng step by step, his smile growing wider. "Young Master Qin, oh, young Master Qin, you're really quite brave, aren't you? You came here all by yourself and wanted to play with this woman with us. Was your head kicked by a donkey? You want to play with this woman? All right, you can if you crawl between your elder's legs." Haha. The baldy spread his legs and grinned as he looked at Qin Feng. He pointed under his legs, indicating for Qin Feng to crawl through. Seeing this, the Scarface and Blondie couldn't help but laugh. This was Qin Feng, the young Master Qin of the Acropolis city who had now fallen into this situation. Just thinking about this, the three men felt incredibly delighted. You want me to crawl? All right, prepare yourself. Here I come. Qin Feng smirked as killing intent flashed in his eyes, and he walked towards the baldy. Chapter 6. Chapter 6. The fight that finished before it began. You think your elder is an idiot and really believe that you would crawl between my legs? Don't even try to play any tricks in front of your elder. Just as Qin Feng started to walk forwards again, the baldy erupted in fury and roared out while swinging his fist towards Qin Feng. Fudge! What are you screaming about in the middle of the night? This was the first time Qin Feng had personally taken part in a fight, and he was facing off against three large, muscular brutes. He couldn't help but feel nervous, and because the baldy had moved so suddenly, Qin Feng received a bit of a fright. His fist contained immense power, and if it really hit Qin Feng's face, it would completely destroy his looks. However, Qin Feng quickly calmed down. Perhaps it was because he had the elementary Thunder Tiger fists. Qin Feng found that although the chubby baldy looked quite ferocious and seemed quite confident, he was quite slow and his punch lacked any form or technique to speak of. In other words, he was full of openings. After all, Qin Feng had seen much in the world and was able to quickly steel himself. He stood his ground, and just as the baldy's fist was about to hit him, his eyes lit up and he twisted his body and struck out. A muffled bang sounded out in the quiet factory. Qin Feng maintained his stance after striking with his fist, while the baldy doubled over. At first, he had forgotten about the immense pain in his abdomen and looked at Qin Feng in fear and shock. Who could have thought that this guy would be so strong? He stood there without moving, and yet had taken him down with a single hit? The baldy Fin Itely wouldn't have believed that something like that was possible if he hadn't personally seen and experienced what had just happened. The person in front of him and the useless young Master Qin he had heard about seemed like two completely different people. The Scarface and the Blondie stared with wide eyes, looking at this scene in shock. They were so dumbfounded that their jaws almost dropped to the ground. That strike had been clean and fast, vigorous and mighty. That was the evaluation the Scarface and the Blondie gave Qin Feng's attack. Who would have thought that this brat was hiding his strength this entire time? This punch caused the Scarface and the Blondie to raise their alertness against Qin Feng. The gazes they cast him no longer carried condescension, and they became serious. The Scarface hurriedly gave the Blondie a meaningful look, indicating that they would go together and kill this brat. The Scarface and the Blondie were like two starving wolves, and they howled as they sprang at Qin Feng. After seeing the effects of his punch, Qin Feng felt much more confident. Looking at the two people leaping towards him, he calmly smiled and suddenly sped up as he also leapt towards them. Bang bang! As the three people collided, two sounds rang out. In the next second, Qin Feng landed and stood straight as a javelin. Scarface and the other brute had each taken a punch from Qin Feng and fell to the ground. The Thunder Tiger fists were incredibly overbearing and powerful, and the two of them felt as if their inner organs had all shifted from the impact of that punch. It was simply a fight that had finished before it began. Fudge! This lil grandson's been pretending to be weak. Who would have thought he was hiding such power? No wonder the higher-ups haven't been doing anything. Even they aren't entirely confident they can deal with Qin Feng. Seeing this, Mada, who had been hiding in the shadows the whole time, felt incredibly flabbergasted. His expression darkened. Could it really be that he wouldn't have an opportunity to ravage Yun Xiao tonight? However, when he thought of Yun Xiao's sexy figure, he simply wasn't willing to give up this opportunity. You're good at fighting, huh? I, your elder, will execute you with a bullet, and I'll be able to complete my task early. After going through some internal conflict, a cold smile appeared on Madahu's savage face. A silver pistol appeared in his hand with the barrel pointing towards Qin Feng's back. Suddenly, A dart flew towards him like a bolt of lightning. Before Ma Da, who could pull the trigger, the dart pierced through his wrist. He dropped the pistol in pain and hurriedly scrambled away. A man in his 50s stood in a shadowy corner. The hairs at his temples were white, and he had extraordinarily sharp eyes with a somber expression. He was Uncle Fu, the bodyguard that Qin Huang had arranged for to protect Qin Feng. He had always been protecting Qin Feng from the shadows. Luckily, he reacted in time and was able to save Qin Feng's life. If anything happened to Qin Feng, Uncle Fu simply didn't know how he could face Qin Huang. After inwardly breathing out a sigh of relief, Uncle Fu's eyes lit up. He had seen Qin Feng fight with the three thugs and felt incomparably shocked. Even Uncle Fu, who had been protecting Qin Feng for more than 10 years, didn't know when he had learned such a powerful external fighting technique. Moreover, from the moves Qin Feng had executed, it seemed that he had been training for at least 10 years. This was completely incomprehensible. After hesitating for a moment, he took out his phone and made a call. Uncle Fu, did something happen to Feng Yer? As the call connected, a strong and solid voice sounded out. After receiving a call from Uncle Fu so late in the night, Qin Huang was worried that Feng Yer had landed in trouble again. Mr. Qin, don't worry, the young master is fine. However, Uncle Fu has something important to report to Mr. Qin. Hearing that Qin Feng was fine, Qin Huang felt relieved, and he replied with a loud and clear voice, Speak. Mr. Qin, the young master seems to have secretly learned an external fighting technique. It seems to be a top-quality external fist technique. What? As the richest man in the Acropolis city, Qin Huang had experienced many storms before. He didn't even blink when conducting transactions worth tens of millions of dollars, but currently, he felt as if he had been struck by thunder. He leapt up from the sofa in excitement, exclaiming, Feng Yer learned an external fist technique? However, Qin Huang's face quickly fell, saying in a low voice, Impossible. When Feng Yer was born, I asked someone to check. It's impossible for him to train in martial arts. Mr. Qin, if I didn't see it myself, I wouldn't have believed it either. However, he really has trained to a satisfactory level in an external fist technique and defeated 3 thugs in just a single breath. I judge that he has been training for at least 10 years from his movements. Shock. Complete and utter shock. Qin Huang knew that Uncle Fu wouldn't casually lie, and there was no reason for him to lie about such a thing. Since he had seen it with his own eyes, then this matter was most likely true. In his joy and excitement, Qin Huang almost forgot to breathe. After remaining silent for a few moments, he resolutely said, Uncle Fu, from today onwards, I want you to be following and protecting Feng Yer 24/7. If any new situation arises, let me know immediately. After hanging up, Qin Huang wasn't able to calm himself down for a long time. Whenever he thought to Feng Yer secretly learning an external fist technique, and to a satisfactory level, he almost wept tears of joy. He stood with his hands behind his back in front of the French window of the penthouse apartment. From here, he could see almost half of the night scenery of the Acropolis city. Su, our son Feng Yer can practice martial arts now and has learned an external fist technique. I knew that our child was like you and inherited your genes. Su, are you doing well over there? Teardrops gathered in Qin Huang's eyes, and his voice was filled with happiness as well as a tinge of melancholy. Originally, Qin Huang had given up on helping Feng Yer take the position of the junior master at the Qin family's clan gathering in a year. However, he had now seen new hope. Chapter 7. Chapter 7. A Great Injustice. Achoo. Qin Feng didn't know of the things Uncle Fu had done in the shadows. A cold gust blew past, and he couldn't resist sneezing. This wasn't a good place to stay. He smirked as he looked at the 3 thugs on the ground who were in too much pain to get up. He looked around at his surroundings, but didn't find Ma Da Hu. It seemed that he needed to find that guy to drink some tea sometime. Beautiful teacher, let's go. Qin Feng looked at Yun Xiao in glee. He was sure that after saving her twice, she would definitely leap into his arms. Since it was so cold here, this young master would deign to hug her. Piss off by yourself. I definitely won't leave with you. Not only did she not throw herself at him, she actually coldly cursed at him. Are you leaving or not? I'll really leave without you. Qin Feng replied unenthusiastically, his excitement immediately extinguished. In the end, Yun Xiao didn't reply to him as she turned and ran. She was certain that Qin Feng was a shameless sexual predator. How could she leave with him? Qin Feng couldn't help but inwardly complain. Why did these quests have to mess with him so much? Looking at Yun Xiao gradually getting further away, Qin Feng quickly chased after her. By this point, Yun Xiao completely hated Qin Feng and wouldn't get into his car no matter what. After struggling for a bit, Qin Feng became annoyed and picked her up and put her into the Lamborghini. Qin Feng, you beast. I want to get off. Let me get off. After getting in the car, Yun Xiao became even more enraged. She continuously hit Qin Feng, causing him to almost drive into a D several times. I say, Teacher Yun, I risked my life to save you from those three beasts. Not only did you not throw yourself to me in Thanksgiving or give me a kiss, why do you have to make such an unreasonable scene? In the end, Qin Feng was still a spoilt young master and couldn't stand Yun Xiao making a ruckus like this. Throw myself to you in Thanksgiving? I'd rather die, Yun Xiao said as she coldly harumphed, leaning towards the door so she could avoid Qin Feng. Her eyes were filled with scorn and disgust as she said, Young Master Qin, you don't need to act. Weren't those three thugs your henchmen? Next time, if you want to put on the act of a hero saving a beauty, try to be a bit more convincing, all right? You want me to kiss you? I'd rather kiss a pig. You think I'm an idiot? When you first came in, you said you wanted to join those bastards and toy with me as well. You're all a bunch of beasts. Join them, my ass. Qin Feng repeatedly cursed inwardly. If I wasn't so magnanimous and forgiving, I'd just throw you out in some deserted place so a drunkard could carry you home. He really wanted to open up Yun Xiao's head to see if there was something wrong with her brain. Could it be that a woman's beauty and her intelligence were really inversely proportionate? After all, he had only said those things to make those thugs let down their guard. Moreover, risking his life to act out a hero, saving a beauty? What a joke. Teacher Yun Xiao, I said that I wanted to join them so I could trick them. Did you really believe that? At this point, Qin Feng simply wanted to laugh and cry. He felt that a great injustice had been done to him. Of course I believed it. I don't trust a single word from your lips, but I wholeheartedly believe that you meant those words. I'll say it again. Let me out of the car or I'll call the police. If Qin Feng wasn't driving so fast, Yun Xiao probably would have opened the door and jumped out. Stop hitting me. Where do you live? I just want to safely send you home. Is that not all right? Qin Feng drove with one hand as he fended Yun Xiao off with his other hand. Yun Xiao suddenly stopped hitting him as she looked at him in surprise. She fell silent for a moment before coldly replying, Skyscene Park, I don't believe that you're so good-natured to take me home. I can't believe that you're so shameless that you'd lay your hand on your teacher. You'll definitely receive punishment. Hearing Yun Xiao's words, Qin Feng became annoyed again. Just as he was about to angrily retort back, a cold electronic voice sounded out in his mind. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Make Teacher Yun Xiao have a favorable impression of you. Quest time limit, 10 days. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 100 Hedonist points. Failing will cause all of the girls around the host to despise him for 1 year. Qin Feng trembled and almost crashed into another car. Before he had completed the quest to rescue Yun Xiao, he had received an even more difficult quest. She thought that he wanted to rape her, and yet he was still expected to make her have a favorable impression of him. Qin Feng almost wept. On the way back to her house, neither of them were in the mood to talk. Qin Feng drove as quickly as possible, and half an hour later, the Lamborghini Batmobile stopped outside Skyscene Park. Yun Xiao looked at the familiar scenery outside, then looked at Qin Feng's smiling and handsome face. She fell into a bit of a daze. This guy had really brought her home? He didn't try to make a move on her? She simply couldn't believe what was happening until she had left the car. She walked as fast as possible in her high heels towards the district's gates. Gazing at Yuan Xiao, who looked like a frightened rabbit running away, Qin Feng smiled and shook his head, then started to drive towards the royal clubhouse. Chapter 8 Chapter 8 Little Pink Piggy. Lin Beibei was wearing a pristine, white bathrobe as she walked out of the bathroom. A complicated look surfaced in her eyes as she looked around the empty room 888. The bathrobe only covered the most intimate areas of her body while her white legs, neck, and shoulders were exposed. Her skin was rosy white without blemish, and any man who saw so much of her skin exposed would not be able to resist becoming excited. Lin Beibei stepped on the snow-white wool carpet and sat down on the bed. She lowered her head onto her shoulder as her eyes became misty. Drip. A clear teardrop fell onto the wool carpet, creating a small wet paw. Lin Beibei bit her red lips and gripped the bedsheets as a feeling of self-loathing came over her. From tonight onwards, she would no longer be a pure girl. However, her mother was in hospital and in dire need of an operation. The money that was promised for the demolition of their home had never come in. The manager in charge of the development wanted to take advantage of her, deliberately making things difficult for the mother and daughter. After thinking about it, the look in Lin Beibei's eyes became resolute. A single transaction would earn her $100,000, which was enough to bring back her mother's health and for them to rent a good home. It was worth it. After thinking about this, Lin Beibei gritted her teeth and untied the bathrobe belt. Whoosh! The white bathrobe fell to the ground, causing her petite, yet curvaceous body to be exposed. Lin Beibei turned off the lights and silently lay on one side of the bed. Within the darkness and silence of the room, she felt perturbed as she waited for the man who would take away her purity. Young Master Qin, you've come. Half an hour later, Qin Feng's Batmobile stopped outside of the royal clubhouse. He casually handed the keys to the smiling bellboy and walked into the clubhouse. The royal clubhouse was one of the places that Qin Feng frequented. He had his own personal room, room 888, which was a presidential suite. He took the familiar route to room 888, swiped his room card, and opened the door. As Qin Feng walked in, he kicked off his leather shoes and took off his shirt and pants. He was left in his boxers as he excitedly sprang towards the bed. On the way back, the system had announced that he had completed the quest to rescue Yuan Xiao and had rewarded him 50 hedonist points, making him feel very excited. Ding! The hedonist sovereign system has been opened. Just as Qin Feng began to think, the cold electronic voice sounded in his head, and a light blue crystal screen appeared in his mind. Looking at the number of hedonist points he had, Qin Feng felt absolutely delighted. Could it be that this young master's new heaven-defying life was about to begin tonight? Qin Feng started to hurriedly look through the item exchange. However, as soon as he started to look at the cost of all of the items, his excitement instantly disappeared. There were 6 grades of items that could be exchanged from the item exchange: elementary, intermediate, advanced, king, emperor, and god. Qin Feng only looked at the elementary grade items, but already felt like smashing his head into a wall. Even a normal strength potion costed 100 hedonist points, and elementary techniques, weapons, and skills costed hundreds of hedonist points. Some of them were in the thousands range, and most intermediate grade items were in the 10,000s. As for the items above king grade, the number of zeros in their prices caused Qin Feng to feel dizzy. It was difficult to even count them. Goddamn. After all that effort, I can only buy a pig? This system has been screwing me over for a while now. Could it be that the system wanted him to have a barbecue? After looking through the elementary items, the only thing that Qin Feng found could be bought with 50 hedonist points was a pet. The description was as follows. System pet, Pink Piggy, HP 1. Battle power, 0. Agility, 0. Skills, unknown. Spirituality, currently none. Grade, elementary unawakened pet combined with hedonist sovereign system NPC function. Seeing that his hard-earned 50 hedonist points could only be exchanged for a cute, pink pig the size of a palm, Qin Feng almost fainted in anger. What was even worse was that this pig's stats were 0 in almost everything. and looked quite useless. Just as he was about to explode in anger, something cool and soft suddenly pressed up against his body, causing the fury in his heart to instantly disperse. Instead, a fire began to burn within the lower half of his body. As the hedonist young master Qin Feng, he immediately realized that what was pressing up against him was a girl. What's more, she was completely naked, had flawless skin, as well as a great figure. Qin Feng suddenly remembered Manager Lu's words. Manager Lu had mentioned that one of the beauties of the Acropolis University was waiting in his room, but because Qin Feng had been preoccupied with the matter with Yun Xiao, he had forgotten about this. Beautiful girl, let this young master taste you. Qin Feng suddenly laughed lewdly and felt the suppleness of the girl against him. He unhesitatingly flipped himself on top of her and prepared to do some relaxing. Lin Bei cried out in shock as a multitude of different emotions rose up within her. She had seen the man enter the room and get into the bed. However, after seeing that he wasn't doing anything, she gritted her teeth and pushed herself against him, wanting to get this over and done with. However, this had caused this stranger to become excited. He had flipped himself on top of her and started to touch her body. Lin Bei's beautiful eyes started to tear up. She thought that she had been prepared, but the instant the man touched her, she regretted her decision. Chapter 9. Chapter 9. The Sorrowful Little Sister Lin. No, let me go. Please, let me go. I want to go home. Let me go. Lin Bei tearfully pleaded. Qin Feng's body stiffened. Why did this voice sound so familiar? There were a few decent beauties at the Acropolis University, and he had taken notice of most of them. He definitely knew this person, so he hurriedly turned on the bedside light and looked to see who it was. He wondered which beauty had come to the royal clubhouse to sell her virginity. When he saw the girl's beautiful face and the tears in her eyes, Qin Feng's mouth violently chewed and he almost fell off the bed. Lin Bei? Qin Feng? Under the gentle light, the two pairs of eyes stared at each other in shock. It was as if time had stopped, creating a strange scene. Qin Feng never would have thought that the beauty who had come to the royal clubhouse to sell her virginity was actually his beautiful desk mate, Lin Bei. His impression of her was that she was someone who was not interested in wealth or power, so how could she sell herself here? Although Qin Feng was a hedonistic sensualist, he only ever engaged in consensual exchanges. Lin Bei was even more surprised to find that the person who was going to pay $100,000 for her virginity was Qin Feng. However, after thinking about his reputation, Lin Bei did not feel as shocked. Lin Bei, what are you doing here? The fiery passion in Qin Feng's body disappeared, and he frowned as he asked her in a serious tone. Although he was a loose sensualist, he still wasn't willing to see such a pure girl like Lin Bei come to this sort of place to sell herself. Lin Bei's sexy lips opened and closed, but she didn't manage to say anything. Everything had happened too suddenly, and she had not been prepared. Qin Feng was hedonist, but deep down, he was a kind person. Although he was infatuated with beauties, he had never forced anyone to do anything against their will. Compared to those chubby, lascivious, middle-aged men, Qin Feng seemed much more appealing with his sword-like eyebrows, aura of a noble, and his angular, handsome face. Lin Bei suddenly found that he didn't seem as vile as he once did. What did it matter who took her virginity? Giving it to Qin Feng was much better than a strange, middle-aged man. Thinking to her mother's operation, Lin Bei gritted her teeth, made up her mind and shyly looked at Qin Feng as she playfully pouted. Qin Feng, can you please be gentle? It's my first time, and I'm afraid it might hurt. Before Qin Feng could react in time, she wrapped her arms around his neck and pushed her soft and damp lips against his mouth. Their bodies pressed together tightly, causing Qin Feng's breathing to become ragged. However, from Lin Bei's stiff kiss, it was evident that this was the first time she had done this. Qin Feng's body immediately reacted to this beauty who was seducing him. However, within his heart, he felt extremely uncomfortable. Why was it that when he wanted her, he couldn't have her, and when she was finally giving herself to him, he couldn't go through with it. Qin Feng suddenly felt that the heavens must be toying around with him. This was simply unfair. Lin Bei, do you know what you're doing? Qin Feng suppressed the fire burning within him and pushed aside Lin Bei as he got off the bed. He loved beauties, but even an idiot could tell that Lin Bei wasn't completely willing to go through with this. She was probably having some secret issues. Standing at the side of the bed, Qin Feng faced away from Lin Bei as he coldly said, "Hurry up and put your clothes on, or I might regret my decision." Lin Bei felt shocked and looked at Qin Feng's back with misty eyes. She simply didn't know what he was thinking. Could it be that she wasn't pretty or sexy enough? Large teardrops began to pitifully fall onto the bed sheets. Before she had come here, she had imagined all sorts of scenarios about her body being defiled. However, she never thought that she would be rejected like this. "Qin Feng, today you announced that you were going to chase me. Is that still true?" Lin Bei was not in a hurry to put on her clothes as her eyes sparkled with teardrops. Even she didn't believe that Qin Feng's confession had been sincere. However, she could only thicken her skin and bet on it. If Qin Feng truly felt that way towards her, she was willing to wholeheartedly follow Qin Feng and become his woman. It was the only way she would be willing to forgive herself for tonight's conduct. Qin Feng wasn't quite sure how to answer that question. He awkwardly turned around to look at Lin Bei. It wasn't that she wasn't good enough, but that he had become used to his sensualistic lifestyle. He had never thought about sincerely dating someone before. I was joking. Please don't take it seriously. A sensualistic hedonist like me isn't good enough for you." Qin Feng didn't want to lie to the pure Lin Bei, so he could only tell the truth. Drip. More crystalline teardrops fell on the bedsheet, covering it with flowers of tears. Lin Bei was biting her lips so hard that they almost began to bleed, and she twisted her nails into her palms. She simply couldn't understand why Qin Feng had rejected her. Could it be that his confession to her was just some game that these rich princelings liked to play? The room lapsed into silence and a cold, emotionless voice sounded out, "Young Master Qin, I'm leaving." Lin Bei got off the bed, exposing her body fully to Qin Feng. However, she didn't care at all. Her eyes had become dim, and she looked like a soulless puppet as she slowly put on her clothes. After putting on her clothes, Lin Bei trudged out of the room with her head lowered, not even looking at Qin Feng. After seeing this, Qin Feng felt quite uncomfortable. For him, who was so unrestrained in his pleasures, he simply couldn't accept these feelings from Lin Bei. Chapter 10. Chapter 10. The Talking Pig. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Resolve Lin Bei's worries and make Lin Bei the host's girlfriend. Quest time limit, 30 days. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 300 hedonist points. Failing will result in the host not coming into contact with any females for 3 years. Fudge! Qin Feng was feeling a bit down and drinking wine on the bed, but he leapt to his feet after hearing this. The punishment for this quest was simply too outrageous. He would be better off just dying. Qin Feng immediately took out his phone and made a call. "Uncle Fu, please make sure you pay attention. My classmate Lin Bei is about to go out. Yes, make sure she gets home safely. Don't let anything happen to her. Also, help me get some information on her," Qin Feng said hurriedly. "Roger, young master." Uncle Fu frowned slightly. Qin Feng had been acting quite strangely recently. First, he had used a top-quality external fist technique, and then had gotten involved in the trifling matters of 2 women, Yun Xiao and Lin Bei. This was completely different to the Qin Feng that Uncle Fu had known for over 10 years. Before, he wouldn't have cared so much about a woman. He would do the deed with them, then say goodbye, usually forever. However, this was Qin Feng's personal life. Uncle Fu shook his head and didn't dwell on it. He calmly replied, "Young master, there will be a cocktail party at the Royal Hotel tomorrow. Many of Acropolis City's young masters will be there. Do you want to go as well?" "Can't be bothered," Qin Feng immediately replied. He had no interest in going to those pretentious gatherings. The Zhao family's heiress, Ling Xian, will be there tomorrow, Uncle Fu reminded. In that case, remind me when it's time and take me by car. Qin Feng's decision immediately changed. When he thought to the quest regarding Zhao Ling Xian, which was to make her have a favorable impression of him, he couldn't help but agree to go. After hanging up, Qin Feng sent a photo of Lin Beibei that he had secretly taken during class. She looked extremely cute and pure, as well as strikingly beautiful. Qin Feng felt that they were two different people after thinking about her tearful expression from the night before in comparison to this smiling photo. Uncle Fu received the photo and memorized Lin Beibei's face. He couldn't help but sigh in awe. The women Qin Feng were interested were all amazing and unique, and were all simply exquisite. Qin Feng threw his phone to the side and lay on his large bed. He couldn't cast away Lin Beibei's figure from his mind, and he sighed. He couldn't really express how he was feeling. He had actually acted like an upright gentleman. Master, this little pink piggy is hungry. What the frick? Suddenly, a childish voice sounded out in Qin Feng's mind, almost causing him to fall to the ground. Qin Feng stared, dumbfounded at the little pig that was rolling around in his mind and trying to act cute. This pig could talk. Master, don't look down on me. I'm an omnipotent and intelligent pig, the little piggy retorted as it pouted. Qin Feng became more and more shocked. He hadn't said anything out loud. Could it be that this little piggy could hear his thoughts? This was simply too terrifying. What if it decided to wow all of Qin Feng's sensualistic experiences? There was enough to make thousands of AV films. Little piggy, you can speak to me telepathically? Qin Feng asked in surprise. Of course. I already said that I'm omnipotent, said the little pig as it proudly raised its head and front hooves. Its actions were incredibly simple and cute, causing Qin Feng to laugh. So I bought you for 50 hedonist points. What can you do? Master, I can do so much. The little pig became excited and started to ramble. After buying me, Master can now receive multiple quests. Moreover, most quests won't be forced on Master anymore. Instead, Master will have the right to choose. The severity of the punishments will also be reduced by half, and I can provide reasonable and realistic plans for Master to level up. When I awaken and grow up, I can even fight by Master's side. Tell me, I'm really powerful, aren't I? The little pig proudly said as it raised its head. Qin Feng became incredibly excited. He thought that he had just thrown away the 50 hedonist points, but it was so worth it. Little piggy, what exactly is this system? Where did it come from? The system is an advanced technique that combined a game with reality, allowing the host to play out a game in real life. The system allows the host to continuously improve and enhance his body, becoming peerless and unrivaled. As for where this system came from, Master, your level is too low, so you can't have that information. Qin Feng raised his eyebrows, asking, My level is too low? I can level up? The little pig lightly hopped onto Qin Feng's body and lay down in a comfortable position. It seemed that it was going to talk for a long time. Qin Feng even began to consider whether he should call over a masseuse or two and listen to the little pig's story while receiving a massage and drinking some wine. Chapter 11. Lin Beibei's Troubles. Host realms are split into Hedonist Mortal, Hedonist Warrior, Hedonist Ancient, and Hedonist Sovereign. Each realm is split from rank 1 to rank 9. By spending Hedonist points, Master can raise his Hedonist level. Spending 1 Hedonist point promotes you to a rank 1 Hedonist Mortal. Spending 10 Hedonist points promotes you to a rank 2 Hedonist Mortal. Spending 100 Hedonist points promotes you to a rank 3 Hedonist Mortal, and so on and so forth. Master has spent 50 Hedonist points, so Master is now a rank 2 Hedonist Mortal. Different realms and ranks are able to purchase different things in the item exchange. As expected, the little pig rambled for quite a long time. However, Qin Feng was able to understand most of it, and he began to comprehend this system. It sounded quite powerful and amazing. Master, this little piggy has spoken a lot, and I'm really hungry now. Quickly let me out so I can eat. You can come out? Qin Feng was flabbergasted. As Qin Feng gave the mental order, he found that the cute, pink pig disappeared from his mind, and he could suddenly feel hooves scurrying on his shoulder. It really could come out. The little pig slid down from Qin Feng's arm and jumped onto the wool carpet. It stuck out its little bottom as it excitedly ran around the room, seemingly curious about every inch of the room. Qin Feng, who was exhausted from a long day, tiredly smiled. He found some food and placed it on the ground, and without paying any more attention to the little pig, he went to bed to get some sleep. The next morning, Qin Feng was woken up by a call from Uncle Fu. "Who is it? Don't disturb this young master's sleep, otherwise you'll have your dick chopped off," Qin Feng mumbled. He was still half asleep and didn't bother to open his eyes. On the other side, Uncle Fu, who was in his 50s, tensed his legs when he heard this punishment. He had never felt nervous even when facing powerful enemies, and yet his entire face was red. After pausing for a moment, Uncle Fu continued to speak. "Young master, it's Uncle Fu. I've prepared the information on Lin Bei Bei. I'll wait for you in the Royal Clubhouse's main hall. I don't care who you are. Anyone who disturbs my sleep will have they, eh?" "Uncle Fu, haha, I'll immediately come down. Pretend I didn't say anything." Qin Feng immediately woke up. Although Uncle Fu was his bodyguard, he had an important status within the Qin family. Even Qin Feng's father, Qin Huang, treated Uncle Fu with utmost respect. Moreover, Uncle Fu had watched Qin Feng grow up and was like a real uncle to Qin Feng. He simply didn't dare to withhold any of the respect due. Qin Feng cast aside his bedsheets and found that the little pig sleeping on his chest was nearly thrown off as well. Qin Feng smiled and gave a mental order, and the little pig disappeared back into the hedonist sovereign system. After quickly washing up, Qin Feng put on a pink blazer, looking fresh and handsome. He drank a cup of milk before rushing down to the main hall. "Good morning, Uncle Fu." Seeing Uncle Fu, Qin Feng couldn't help but feel a bit awkward. However, Uncle Fu looked at him with the same expression as ever, as if nothing had happened. After greeting each other, they walked out of the Royal Clubhouse and got into a company Mercedes-Benz. Uncle Fu drove as he talked. "Young master, Miss Lin is 20 years old this year and was born in the Acropolis city. She's currently a first year at the Acropolis University, and her father died in a car crash when she was young. Her mother was diagnosed with stomach cancer at the beginning of the year and is being treated at the Acropolis City First Hospital. Miss Lin was living in the North Side's development zone, and her home was demolished 2 months ago. However, the compensation still hasn't been given to her family. It seems that someone has been manipulating things in the background." Only after Uncle Fu started to go through her information in depth did Qin Feng realize how difficult Lin Bei Bei's life was. He suddenly realized why Lin Bei Bei had come to the Royal Clubhouse last night to sell herself. She had definitely run into a situation where she had no other options. "Uncle Fu, how much does Lin Bei Bei need for her mother's operation?" "The operation alone is $100,000. The recuperating expenses after that might cost even more." $100,000 for the operation, the amount of money she would have received for selling her body? Did you find out who was supposed to give her the compensation for her home being demolished? Lin Bei Bei's petite and delicate figure appeared in Qin Feng's mind, and he had a sudden urge to protect her as he icily asked. "Yes, it's Eternal Abundance Real Estate's general manager, Chao Yang," Uncle Fu said after a slight pause. Qin Feng had never heard of Chao Yang before, but he was incredibly familiar with Eternal Abundance Real Estate. It was one of the companies under his father's royal group. As if he saw the change in Qin Feng's expression, Uncle Fu continued to speak. "The development project in the Acropolis City's North District was managed by the Eternal Abundance Real Estate that belongs to Mr. Qin. Chao Yang was put in charge of this project, but he colluded with the architects and builders to skimp on the materials. Because he was attracted by Miss Lin's beauty, but was rejected by Miss Lin, he went out of his way to make trouble for the Lin family's mother and daughter. He limited their compensation to the absolute minimum and stalled giving them the money. Miss Lin's mother is in dire need of the operation, so in order to quickly earn enough money, Miss Lin came to the Royal Clubhouse last night." Uncle Fu stopped speaking because Qin Feng had understood. This Chao Yang was vermin in the company, and Qin Feng wanted to use Lin Beibei's quest to also get rid of him on the way. Uncle Fu, quick, to the Acropolis City's first hospital. Chapter 12. Chapter 12. People who must not be offended. Lin Beibei was surrounded by a group of people in Building 3 of the Acropolis City First Hospital's inpatient department. She wiped the tears off her face and pleaded with the doctor next to her. "Dr. Zhang, my mother just had an operation and needs to recover. Please let her stay in the intensive care ward for now. I'll take care of the money in a few days and give it to the hospital." "Young lady, it's not that I'm heartless, but the hospital's rules state that without paying enough money, we simply can't give you a room," Dr. Zhang said as he pushed up his glasses, revealing an expression of helplessness. Next to Lin Beibei stood a row of hooligans. These people had just been in a gang fight and had come to the hospital to be paid up. Upon seeing the pure and beautiful Lin Beibei, they stopped next to her. Their leader was a vulgar-looking man with a dyed afro and was wearing a singlet and shorts. His triangular eyes darted up and down Lin Beibei's body, which made him feel quite excited. "Haha, beautiful girl, asking for payment for a room is right and proper. It's fine if you don't have money. Big brother will lend you some as long as you come for a drink for me tonight and have some fun. That money isn't a big deal." The Afrohead seized the opportunity. He stroked his chin as he shamelessly ogled Lin Beibei's body, smiling vulgarly. Lin Beibei had long since noticed this ill-intentioned man, and her eyes flashed with contempt. She glared at the Afrohead, ignoring him and the others, and continued to plead with Dr. Zhang. "Beautiful girl, no matter how much you plead, it's useless if you don't have money." The Afrohead grinned as he walked in between Lin Beibei and Dr. Zhang, spreading out his arms to prevent her from chasing after him. Seeing that Dr. Zhang was about to turn the corner and disappear, Lin Beibei became so anxious that she began to tear up. These hooligans wouldn't leave her alone, making it difficult for her to get rid of them. "What do you want?" Lin Beibei was usually gentle and well-natured, but she was now furious. The Afrohead had hung around for a while, so he more or less understood the situation. This girl's mother was in hospital, but they couldn't afford to pay the hospital fees. This sort of family definitely didn't have any wealth or power, which suited his tastes. "Beautiful girl, how about this? This big brother will pay your mother's hospital fees, and you'll be Big Brother's woman. Big Brother's a famous figure in the underworld. Being with me is equivalent to 8 lives of fortune for you. Big Brother will make you dance in ecstasy every night. Beautiful girl, are you willing?" The Afroheads beamed, with his eyes fixed on Lin Beibei's chest. He looked extremely confident, as if Lin Beibei was already his and couldn't possibly get away. His pig trotter of a hand reached over, attempting to raise Lin Beibei's chin. Lin Beibei's face immediately darkened. She had endured much over the recent period of time, but this pushed her over the edge. "Piss off. All of you. Piss off. Fudge, your elder has never been rejected by a woman he's taken an interest in before. Since you won't take my good intentions, I'll show you what the consequences are." Seeing that he had been cursed at by a girl in front of his brothers, the Afrohead's smile immediately disappeared, and he evilly laughed. "Brothers, this girlie is quite pretty. We'll take her back and taste her together." His words evoked a wave of laughter. As his brothers began to make a ruckus, he walked closer to Lin Beibei, who hurriedly stepped back. After taking only 2 steps, she bumped into someone else. A familiar, masculine scent wafted into her nose, which she surprisingly didn't dislike. "Haha, so it turns out that there are also men as perfect as this young master, who never fail at getting the women they want." Qin Feng, who had just arrived, laughed as he spoke. His eyes momentarily flashed with a murderous intent, which quickly disappeared. "Qin Feng?" Just as Lin Beibei was about to struggle out of the man's embrace, she suddenly discovered that it was Qin Feng. Her mind became blank as she exploded in frustration, but as she lay in Qin Feng's embrace, the warmth caused her frightened heart to gradually calm down. "Brat, which gang are you from? These big brothers have things to do, so you better quickly leave." Seeing that a busybody had barged in, The afro-head shot him a furious glare, as if he wanted to devour him. However, Qin Feng's clothes suggested that he was probably from a rich or powerful family. The afro-head didn't want to offend such a person, so he tried instead to quickly scare him away. Haha, this young master isn't part of a gang, but there are legends of me in the underworld. I heard quite a lot of bullcrap over here, so I came over to see which dog it was that was being so unruly. Qin Feng had seen and been through so much. How could he be scared by these little hooligans? The afro-head was mentally quite slow and only now realized what Qin Feng's words meant. This brat was insinuating that he was spouting bullcrap and had insulted him by calling him a dog. The afro-head exploded in anger and roared as he rushed towards Qin Feng. Brothers, kill this stinking brat who thinks he's hot stuff. The 6 of them blocked the narrow corridor, and the 5 hooligans sprang towards Qin Feng like hungry wolves. The scene looked quite terrifying. After receiving the Thunder Tiger fists, he had become much more powerful. Even if he had to personally act, it would not be difficult for him to take down these 5 people. What was more, Uncle Fu was right behind him. Qin Feng didn't know that Uncle Fu was aware of him knowing martial arts. It was difficult to explain the system, so he looked towards Uncle Fu, who understood his intentions. Uncle Fu's feet lightly tapped the ground and shot towards them like a fish in water. Qin Feng knew just how powerful Uncle Fu was. Although Qin Feng had the Thunder Tiger fists, even 10 of him wouldn't be enough to defeat Uncle Fu. Uncle Fu was as fast as lightning, and his fists were like gusts of wind. Whenever he scored a direct hit, a loud, colliding sound would ring out, as well as pitiful cries. In just a few breaths of time, the 5 thugs had all fallen to the ground, bending over as they moaned in pain. Uncle Fu had now returned to original position behind Qin Feng and stood as straight as a pine tree. His expression was incredibly calm, as if nothing had happened. Uncle Fu, please take care of the necessary paperwork, Qin Feng said. Uncle Fu nodded and dialed a number, then walked out. The 5 people on the ground scowled miserably and were clearly furious. They had been thugs for a long time and often got into fights. Normally, they were the ones doing the bullying. When had they ever been bullied before? Today, they had been easily taken care of by an ordinary-looking old man, which gave them the urge to ram themselves into a wall and die. If this matter was spread, they would lose all face in the underworld. Big Brother Biao, it's me, Blackie. We were beaten up by someone in the first hospital. We told them about you, but not only did they not give us face, but attacked us savagely. Big Brother Biao, you have to come and teach these guys a lesson and give your subordinates justice. After remaining silent for a while, the afro-head began to call for reinforcements. Perhaps it was because the Big Brother Biao was quite powerful or important, but after hanging up, the thugs became arrogant again. They all stared fixedly at Qin Feng, as if they were afraid that he would escape. Brat, you're dead this time. Big Brother Biao's already heading this way. Your elder will have you know that there are people in this city who must not be offended. Is that so? Then this young master is quite interested to see who it is. Tell him to hurry up, otherwise I might leave after taking care of my matters here. Qin Feng coldly smiled as he looked at the afro-head and the others as if they were idiots. Chapter 13. Chapter 13. Accepting a Quest, 1. We'll let you be arrogant for a while. When Big Brother Biao comes, you won't even have the chance to cry, the afro-head coldly said. At this moment, a white-haired, elderly man hurried over to Qin Feng's side. He was the first hospital's director, Fang Wentian. Young Master Qin, it's a misunderstanding, a simple misunderstanding. This was our hospital's fault, and as the director of the first hospital, I'll take responsibility. Fang Wentian would never have imagined that Qin Feng would personally come to the hospital for a girl who couldn't afford the fees. His father, Qin Huang, donated much of the first hospital's medical equipment every year and had invested more than $100 million over the past few years. Even Director Fang didn't dare to offend him. Director Fang's being too serious. Thanks for taking the trouble to come all the way here for something small like this. Seeing that Qin Feng wasn't angry, Fong Wentian inwardly released the breath he was holding as he quickly replied, "No, no, it's the right thing to do. Don't worry, young Master Qin. I've personally arranged everything. I'm sure you'll be satisfied." At this moment, Uncle Fu calmly returned to Qin Feng's side and said, "Young Master, everything's been taken care of." Upon seeing Uncle Fu, Fong Wentian's body slightly trembled, his heart full of shock. As someone from the older generation, he had heard much of Uncle Fu during his glory days. For such a legendary figure to be willing to serve Qin Huang and act as a bodyguard, it showed just how powerful and influential the Qin family was in the Acropolis city. Afrohead, who was still lying on the ground and unable to get up, suddenly felt a sense of regret. Less than 10 minutes after Qin Feng had arrived, the director had personally rushed over with a big smile on his face. The power he wielded was simply shocking. He had already regretted angering Qin Feng, but since things had turned out like this, he could only pray that Big Brother Biao would quickly bring people over. That way, there would still be room for negotiation. The one who was the most shocked was Lin Bei, who was still in Qin Feng's embrace. The moment she saw Qin Feng, she felt as if she was dreaming an incredibly long and realistic dream. Although Lin Bei had long since known of Qin Feng's background, this was the first time she had witnessed the power that it carried. After seeing the director of the first hospital act so courteously, she felt incredibly shocked and grateful towards Qin Feng. Not only did he allow her to preserve her purity, he had even ordered someone to drive her to the hospital the previous night, in addition to paying the $100,000 operation fee. Today, he had personally come here and organized the procedures for her mother's recovery. Lin Bei now felt quite confused. If Qin Feng didn't like her, why was he doing all of this? If he just wanted her body, he could have already taken it, as he had already paid the $100,000. He didn't need to go so far. "Uncle Fu, what's this Big Brother Biao thing?" Qin Feng nodded his head, satisfied that the matter with Lin Bei's mother had been resolved. He then remembered the person that the Afrohead had mentioned and casually questioned Uncle Fu. "Young Master should be referring to Zhang Biao. He's a hoodlum from the Acropolis city and isn't too influential, but he's no small fry either. He's a good fighter, but his personality is too frank and he has a fiery temper. He doesn't understand how to manage relationships with others, so he's never been able to make it big." As Uncle Fu gave Qin Feng a rundown about Zhang Biao, a fierce tiger-like roar sounded out from the corridor. "Blackie, who the frick's acting up here?" A colossal, muscular man with 8 lackeys following behind him strode in. A fierce tiger was tattooed on his arm, and his veins bulged on his furious-looking face. His entire body exuded the aura of a bandit. If this man had lived in the Japanese resistance period, he would definitely be a king of bandits. His aura was simply too frightening. The people in his way obediently cleared a path for him, afraid that they would bring trouble on themselves. Lin Bei, who was leaning against Qin Feng, was so scared that she started to tremble. She hurriedly grabbed onto him and worriedly said, "Qin Feng, you'd better go. There's so many of them, so you'll definitely be in trouble if you don't leave." Director Fong frowned. This was a sacred hospital, and yet there were hooligans coming in to make trouble. It seemed that they were here for Qin Feng. He inwardly groaned, cursing his bad luck for something so troublesome to happen so early on in the day. "Young Master Qin, I'll immediately call the hospital security." Qin Feng glanced at the director and gently shook his head, then turned his attention back to Lin Bei. Seeing how pitiful and weak she looked, he warmly smiled, feeling a sense of care for her. He lovingly stroked her hair as he calmly said, "Don't worry, I can handle a small matter like this." "Young Master, this person is Zhang Biao," Uncle Fu said in a composed manner to Qin Feng. Evidently, Uncle Fu was unfazed by Zhang Biao's aura. Qin Feng sized up Zhang Biao. He was quite muscular and well-built, and his very presence would make anyone feel pressured. He indeed had the potential to become a big figure in the underworld. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Subdue Zhang Biao. Quest time limit: 3 days. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 50 Hedonist points. Failing will result in the host not being able to use the Thunder Tiger Fist for 1 month. Lil Piggy, this is also a quest from the system? I thought all of the quests were related to women. Qin Feng asked mentally in surprise. That's right, the quests from the system are all related to women, but after Master bought me, I can choose some quests for you to do. These quests can be accepted or rejected by Master. At this moment, Qin Feng realized just how useful this little pig was. It could actually give him extra quests. This way, it would be much easier for him to earn hedonist points, which was fantastic. I'll accept it. Qin Feng didn't even need to think as he unhesitatingly accepted the quest. Chapter 14. Chapter 14. Accepting a Quest 2. Big Brother Biao, thank God you're here. It's those two brats over there. You have to avenge us. Look at how arrogant they look. They beat us up so much that even our own parents wouldn't recognize us. The arrival of Zhang Biao immediately revived the dejected Afro head, who looked like he was seeing his father come back to life. Seeing that Zhang Biao was now walking over, Uncle Fu moved to step in front of Qin Feng, but was stopped by him. Now that he had a quest to complete, Qin Feng wanted to resolve this by himself. Zhang Biao led his followers and swaggered in front of Qin Feng. However, after seeing Qin Feng's features clearly, his expression changed and his facial muscles began to chui. Zhang Biao clearly knew who could and couldn't be offended in the Acropolis city. The two people in front of him were two people who he never, ever wanted to offend. Both of these people were from the Acropolis city's Qin family. If someone were to offend them, it would be better for them to just end their life and pray that they would be reincarnated into a good family in the next life. At this moment, Zhang Biao simply felt like killing the Afro head. The Afro head's status in society was simply too low, so he didn't know what was going on. Neither did he notice Zhang Biao's darkening face. Seeing that Zhang Biao was coming over, his body was filled with energy and he started to curse at Qin Feng and the others. Big Brother Biao, it's these two people who are tired of living, especially that old geezer. What are you staring at? That's right, I'm talking about you. You're in your 50s, but you still attacked so savagely. Not that Big Brother Biao's here. We'll see if you still dare to act so arrogantly. The Afro head began to curse more and more, even mocking the other side for their lack of retaliation. He felt exhilarated, like he was floating, and any prior feelings of depression simply melted away. How could Uncle Fu be afraid to act? It was just that without Qin Feng's orders, he didn't want to bother with these clowns. Even Director Feng, seeing someone acting so ignorantly and arrogantly, was dumbfounded and covered in cold sweat. This junior was ignorant, much too ignorant. Just as the Afro head was beginning to feel better, a heavy slap landed on his face. It was laced with savageness, and he saw stars as he was sent spinning around 3 times. Zhang Biao's face was green, and he silently cursed his lackeys for being so blind and ignorant. They could offend anyone they wanted. But why did they have to offend the young master of the Qin family? They even had to drag him down with them as well? What a bunch of pigs. Big Brother Biao, why you've hit the wrong person. It was those two, over there. The Afro head was shocked that he was the one who had been slapped. He held his burning, red face as he looked at Zhang Biao with a look of surprise. Just as he was about to open his mouth, another slap came his way, knocking out 2 of his front teeth and splattering the ground with blood. Goddamn, the one your elder wants to hit is you. You little piece of crap, open your eyes and look at who these 2 gentlemen are. They're from the Acropolis city's Qin family. Zhang Biao had used all of his strength in that slap. It was as if he wanted to kill the Afro head before he could say any more stupid things. Acropolis City Qin family? These 4 words struck the Afro head harder than the 2 slaps Zhang Biao had given him. The Afro head and the other thugs all felt like they had been hit by a truck and stared as if their eyes were going to fall out. They wouldn't have dared to do the same thing if they knew that these 2 people were from the Qin family, even if they were 10 times as brave. It was risky to offend even a doorman or a groundsman from the Qin family. Moreover, the young man in front of them was the heir of the patriarch of the Acropolis city's Qin family. The lackeys almost fainted from the shock. Young Master Qin, Senior, us lowly ones had eyes, but didn't recognize Mount Tai. Dogs don't know any propriety, so please forgive us lowly ones just this once." After coming back to his senses, the Afrohead fell to his knees and begged as he kowtowed. "Young Master Qin, Senior, us lowly ones now know we're in the wrong. The great don't bicker with the ordinary, so please don't hold this against us." Following his lead, the other lackeys all fell to the ground and begged for mercy. The prostrated lackeys on the floor blocked the corridor. Seeing them kowtowing and pleading, Lin Bei and Director Fong were flabbergasted. "A bunch of trash. Drag these reckless idiots out and teach them a lesson." Seeing that Qin Feng hadn't said anything, Zhang Biao felt nervous and his back was covered with cold sweat. He gritted his teeth as he looked at the Afrohead and the others. Then, he waved his hand to tell the people he had brought to take them out and give them a good beating. The narrow and cluttered corridor felt much wider and spacious after they exited, just leaving Zhang Biao and Qin Feng's group. "You're Zhang Biao?" Qin Feng calmly asked. "That's right. Young Master Qin. This lowly one hasn't disciplined his followers properly. Please show mercy," Zhang Fei sincerely said as he saluted with his cupped fists. Qin Feng didn't say anything. He was currently thinking of how to subdue Zhang Biao and make him his own follower. It seemed like he could subdue Zhang Biao just by relying on his status. However, Zhang Biao was a straightforward character and valued loyalty and brotherhood. If he forced him to submit, he probably wouldn't be wholeheartedly willing to follow him. "I've heard that you're pretty good at fighting. If you let me punch you once, we'll consider this matter to be over," Qin Feng solemnly said. Zhang Biao felt quite confused. Even though he had never met Qin Feng before and didn't know what sort of person he was like, the rumors said that none of the people who offended Qin Feng had been let off so easily before. Could it be that this would really be over if he let Qin Feng punch him once? Zhang Biao looked down on a good-for-nothing young master like Qin Feng. He wouldn't even be afraid of 10 punches from him, let alone a single punch. As Qin Feng spoke, the aura around him became frigid and icy. Before anyone could react, he lashed out, striking Zhang Biao's abdomen. The might of this punch was fearsome and its speed was inconceivable. A loud collision sound echoed throughout the corridor. Uncle Fu's eyes flashed and marveled as he looked at Zhang Biao, staggering back 5 or 6 steps before he could steady himself. It seemed that he had underestimated the external fist technique that Qin Feng had trained in. It was ferocious and overbearing, carrying with it an irresistible force that couldn't be blocked. It was definitely a top-class external fist technique. "Zhang Biao, I'll give you an opportunity to follow this young master." After Qin Feng landed his punch, he calmly spoke. He didn't use his background to force him to submit, but rather impressed him through his own strength. If he could convince Zhang Biao to capitulate, he would be a decent subordinate. Zhang Biao looked at Qin Feng in shock. He never would have thought that such a flimsy-looking body could hide such immense strength. He had heard of rumors of Qin Feng before, that he was a useless, hedonistic young master, and had looked down on him. However, at this moment, Qin Feng had completely earned his respect. That punch was incredibly overbearing and was shockingly fast. Zhang Biao couldn't block it at all. "Thank you for giving me face. In future, if you have anything you want Biao to do, please let me know." After coming back to his senses, Zhang Biao endured the pain in his abdomen as he spoke with excitement in his eyes. With a big mountain like Qin Feng to rely on, he was destined for meteoric success. Chapter 15. Chapter 15, Rank 1 Strength Potion. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng. You have completed the quest to subdue Zhang Biao. You have received 50 hedonist points. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng. You have resolved one of Lin Bei's worries. You have received 100 hedonist points. Qin Feng was overjoyed to have received 150 hedonist points. Since he had completed the quest, there was no need for Qin Feng to keep Zhang Biao hanging around. He waved his head and sent the group of people on their way. "Lil Piggy, I haven't completed Lin Bei's quest yet. So why did I receive hedonist points?" Qin Feng asked as he suppressed his excitement. "That's because of me, of course. After Master bought me, Quests can be separated into multiple subquests. Lin Bei Bei's quest has been split by me into 3 subquests. Every time you complete a subquest, you can earn Hedonist points immediately. Lil Piggy, you're awesome. Qin Feng was so excited that he almost wanted to give the little pig a big kiss. However, he immediately decided against this upon seeing its snotty snout. The little pig sniffled its snot as it proudly looked at Qin Feng. Now do you realize? I told you ages ago that I'm the invincible little pig. Qin Feng screwed his ear, pretending not to hear the little pig. He now had 150 hedonist points and couldn't wait to see what he could buy in the item exchange. He turned to Lin Bei Bei and said, "Bei Bei, Uncle Fu has already arranged everything for Ani's recovery, so don't worry. As for the compensation for your home being demolished, I'll sort it out for you soon. This is the room card for room 888 at the Royal Clubhouse. You can stay there for now. I've got some other things to take care of, so I'll be leaving first." It was not until Qin Feng and Uncle Fu had walked quite a distance away did Lin Bei Bei snap out of her daze. She looked at the room card in her hands, and her pure, beautiful face flushed red. Could it be that Qin Feng still wanted her body? Could it be that he had done all of that just because he wanted her body? Lin Bei Bei felt a bit worried and disappointed, but also, strangely, a bit hopeful. Uncle Fu drove the Mercedes-Benz as Qin Feng sat at the back and relaxed while looking out of the window. "Uncle Fu, what did you think of that punch that I hit Zhang Biao with?" Qin Feng suddenly asked, breaking the silence. Although he wanted to hide his power, it was impossible for him to hide it from Uncle Fu forever. After all, Uncle Fu was acting as his bodyguard 24/7. Moreover, Uncle Fu was a trustworthy person, so Qin Feng decided not to hide the Thunder Tiger fist from him. Uncle Fu felt slightly shocked. He had been meaning to ask Qin Feng about that external fist technique, but could never find the opportunity. Now that Qin Feng had brought it up, Uncle Fu nodded, replying, "Young master, your fist technique is excellent, vigorous and overbearing, like a ferocious tiger." "It's just that." Uncle Fu frowned and hesitated. "What is it?" "Uncle Fu, you can be honest with me?" Qin Feng suddenly sat up as he asked. "Young master's external fist technique is a top-class fist technique, but your power is a bit lacking. Currently, you're unable to completely wield this fist technique and unleash its true power." Uncle Fu's words hit home. The reason he had decided to talk to Uncle Fu about the Thunder Tiger fists was because although he had achieved victory in these 2 battles, Qin Feng had found a serious problem. Just like Uncle Fu had said, when throwing punches, he felt that there was not enough strength behind them. Every time his fist struck something, his arm would ache terribly. In a battle, this would be equivalent to killing 100 enemies, but sacrificing 3,000 of one's own troops. According to my analysis, young master has already fully comprehended this fist technique styles and can freely use them. However, young master's own strength hasn't caught up. Against thugs like Zhang Biao, young master will have the advantage, but if young master runs into experts who have truly cultivated, young master will suffer loss. Uncle Fu's unfathomable eyes flashed with a hint of confusion. Since Qin Feng was able to use the fist technique so freely, he must have trained for at least 10 years. If that was the case, why had he never trained his body before? For external techniques, strength was paramount. "Young master, could it be that your master only taught you the fist technique, but never taught you how to break through your limits?" This sort of top-class external technique was usually something that was strictly passed down within a family or sect. As such, it wasn't quite appropriate to ask about someone's master. However, Uncle Fu was simply too curious and couldn't help himself. "Ahem. Uncle Fu, my master said that I can't reveal too much, so I hope you can understand." Qin Feng gave a dry cough. "Master? What master? And what was this breaking through the limits thing?" Although he wanted to know what it was, he decided to act mysterious because he was afraid of revealing too much. "Understood, young master." Since Qin Feng wasn't willing to say, Uncle Fu wouldn't continue to ask. Qin Feng was afraid that Uncle Fu would continue his questioning, so he returned to looking out of the window and feigned disengagement. The rest of the journey was spent in silence, until finally, the car stopped in front of the royal clubhouse. After entering the royal clubhouse, Qin Feng hurriedly rushed to room 888 and opened the hedonist sovereign system as he lay on his bed. "Master, you've finally come." This little pig was nearly bored to death. The little, pink pig lightly jumped onto Qin Feng's shoulder and affectionately patted his face with its front hooves. Qin Feng patted the little pig back as he smiled and said, "Lil Piggy, I have 150 hedonist points now. What's the most efficient way I can spend them?" Just as Qin Feng spoke, 10 or so items appeared on the blue screen in his mind. They were all worth 150 hedonist points or less. Goddamn! Elementary piano skills and elementary calligraphy skill cost 100 hedonist points? Qin Feng was flabbergasted when he saw the skills that he had already obtained. These two completely useless skills costed even more than the little pig. "Master, don't make such a big fuss about it. Half of the time, the lottery doesn't give anything. Also, the Thunder Tiger fists that you drew are worth 500 hedonist points." Qin Feng's mouth tweaked. Only now did he realize how lucky he had been with those draws. He quickly calmed himself down and looked through the shop until his gaze finally fell on a green elementary strength potion. "Master, you have comprehension of the Thunder Tiger fists, but your strength isn't enough. I recommend that you spend 100 hedonist points to buy this elementary strength potion to increase your strength." Elementary strength potion. After consumption, the host's strength will be raised to 2. Notice, a normal human's strength is 1. If he drank this elementary strength potion, his strength would be double that of a normal human's. So such a magical potion exists. I want to try 100 bottles. Qin Feng yelled. "Apologies, the host does not have sufficient hedonist points and can only purchase 1 bottle of elementary strength potion. Would you like to purchase one?" The cold electronic voice replied. Qin Feng awkwardly screwed his head, laughing. "This system doesn't have any sense of humor. I was just making a joke, but all right, I'll buy one for now." Just as he spoke, a bottle about as tall as a key and that held a green liquid appeared in his hand. When Qin Feng quickly took the cap off, a faint, medicinal aroma wafted through air. He tilted his head back and drank all of the green liquid in one gulp. A wave of warmth flowed through his stomach, passing through all of his veins and arteries. Qin Feng could feel his muscles growing and his bones strengthening. He felt as if he was a tiny sapling bursting out of the soil. The sense of warmth became hotter and hotter, until it felt as if there was a powerful ball of air within him, which made it difficult for him to breathe. He roared out, wanting to release whatever was inside him, and struck out his fist against the wall. A muffled bang sounded out and a small crater appeared in the wall, causing Qin Feng to feel quite shocked. "Master, you've completely absorbed the elementary strength potion. Your strength has risen to 2. Combined with the Thunder Tiger fists, your strength is equivalent to 3. 3 times a normal person's strength, that's about 150 kilograms. No wonder it's so powerful." Qin Feng shook his head in awe. He felt overjoyed. If he concentrated all of his strength into his fists, hitting an enemy would definitely feel incredibly satisfying. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for spending 100 hedonist points in total and becoming a rank 3 hedonist mortal. The system has awarded you with 3 lottery chances. Thinking back to the fact that he had won the Thunder Tiger fists worth 500 hedonist points from the lottery, Qin Feng felt incredibly thrilled and immediately yelled out, "Draw! You have not won anything from this lottery chance. Please try again next time." "Again?" Qin Feng exclaimed as he grimaced. "You have not won anything from this lottery chance. Please try again next time." Fudge, this young master doesn't believe that he won't get anything from 3 draws. One more time. Qin Feng felt a bit nervous. Could it be that he had used all of his luck last time when he drew 3 prizes? Would he draw nothing from these 3 chances? Just the mere thought of this was terrifying, more terrifying than seeing a ghost. "Congratulations, host. You have drawn a true steel sword." On the screen, an ancient sword spun as it emitted a faint yellow light, causing Qin Feng to feel dumbfounded. The true steel sword was one of Yu Wang's 8 legendary swords. It had survived through many millennia and was a priceless item. With a slight thought from Qin Feng, the true steel sword from the system appeared in his hands. This sort of top-class sword actually ended up in this young master's hands. Hee, I like it. With the true steel sword in his hands, Qin Feng couldn't help but swing it around. However, he could only do so randomly, as he didn't know any sword techniques. The sword buzzed as it slashed through the air, leaving afterimages in its path. Although it was an ancient sword, its sharpness had not decreased over the ages and it could cut through iron like mud. Lil Piggy, how much is this true steel sword worth in the system? And also, where do I keep it? Qin Feng was too attached to the true steel sword to let it go. He was certain that this sword was much more expensive than the elementary Thunder Tiger fists. It was just that the true steel sword was too sharp, and he didn't know how to use it, so he was afraid of hurting himself. Moreover, in the current technologically advanced day and age, he couldn't just carry around a sword on him. Even he would look down on himself if he did that, being a romantic and casual young Master Qin. Chapter 16. Chapter 16, Banquet of the Rich and Powerful. Master, the true steel sword is worth 1,000 hedonist points. If you return it to the system, you will receive half of its selling price. You can store and retrieve items for free in the system, but this is limited to items from the system. You won't be able to store things from the outside world, the little pig lazily said. Qin Feng was incredibly excited. Indeed, the sword was much more precious than the elementary Thunder Tiger fists. It was worth 1,000 hedonist points, and he could store it in the system, which was perfect for him. This system was like a spatial ring, which was incredibly convenient. Qin Feng waved his hand, and the true steel sword disappeared as it was stored into the system. Qin Feng then looked through the system again, seeing if he could spend the remaining 50 hedonist points he had. However, after looking through everything, he couldn't find anything worth buying. Young Master, the Royal Hotel's cocktail party is about to begin. Uncle Fu had called to remind Qin Feng about the cocktail party. As soon as Qin Feng thought about Zhao Lingxian, he could feel a headache coming on. However, upon thinking about the punishment of losing 3 years from his lifespan, he immediately changed into a stylish white suit and walked out of his room looking like Prince Charming. Uncle Fu drove Qin Feng in the Mercedes-Benz to the Royal Hotel. The Royal Hotel was the largest 5-star hotel in Acropolis City and was also the property of Qin Huang, Qin Feng's father. It was the second most frequented place by Qin Feng. Qin Feng walked into the Royal Hotel by himself. Because he had Zhao Lingxian's quest to complete, he didn't ask Uncle Fu to come with him, in case he discovered something. Young Master Qin, the banquet's at the top floor. I'll take you there. Qin Feng's face was like a banknote in the upper-class society. Everyone recognized him. He was led by 2 bellboys to the top floor of the hotel. Young Master Qin, you've come. As the elevator opened, a tall beauty wearing a black uniform came over. It was the beautiful manageress, Bai Qing. Manager Bai, you're looking more and more stunning. Qin Feng unscrupulously looked up and down Bai Qing's body, burning with the desire to grope her sexy body. This caused Bai Qing's eyes to flash with a hint of coldness, but she soon recovered. Putting her hand over her seductive, red lips, she laughed. Young Master Qin, don't joke around. Miss Zhao is already here. A week after Qin Feng had rescinded the marriage between the Zhao family and himself, the news had spread throughout the entire upper-class society of Acropolis City. Despite this, only members of the upper-class society had knowledge of this. A manager like Bai Qing had no idea about it, which was why she had said such a thing. Take me to see Miss Zhao. Upon hearing Bai Qing mention Zhao Lingxian, Qin Feng's mood quickly soured, and he did not continue to flirt with her. This way, please, young Master Qin. Bai Qing led Qin Feng to one of the banquet halls on the top floor. Seeing Qin Feng walk into the room, Bai Qing's coquettish look disappeared and her face became icy cold, as a glimmer of killing intent flashed in her eyes. As soon as Qin Feng walked in, he saw Zhao Lingxian sitting at the piano, in front of large, French window. She was wearing a sexy, white bouffant gown. with the V extending down to her chest and revealing her perky, snow-white cleavage. Her skirt extended to her knees, revealing a pair of long and slim legs. She was like a noble princess and had long since been surrounded by men, but she wasn't affected at all. Under the moonlight and candlelight, she gently played the piano with her sleek fingers. Her eyes were lowered, highlighting how long her eyelashes were, and her dark hair fell on her shoulders as she played a beautiful melody. Clap, clap, clap. Her performance of Kiss the Rain won the applause from all the males present, and some took this opportunity to offer flattery and compliments. Because Qin Feng had rescinded the marriage between Zhao Lingxian and himself, she was now a single goddess again. The reason most people had come to this banquet of the rich and powerful tonight was to win Zhao Lingxian's affections and increase their connections with the Zhao family. Zhao Lingxian was the only daughter of the chairman of the Hong Medical Group, Zhao Dahai. The person who married her would one day own the property of the Zhao family's medical group. Miss Zhao is both beautiful and talented. I'm simply in awe, in awe. A pretty boy suddenly strutted over. He looked quite handsome and was wearing a custom-tailored suit which showed off his wealth. Just by walking over, he caused more than half of the males around Zhao Lingxian to walk off on their own accord. This person was called Feng Tianhua. His father was the bureau chief of the Acropolis City's police force, so generally, no one dared to offend him. Zhao Lingxian only glanced at Feng Tianhua before once again lowering her head to play the piano again. However, she caught sight of Qin Feng standing at the entrance, which caused her eyes to burn with fire as she gnashed her teeth. What made her even more furious was that after seeing her, Qin Feng actually smiled and swaggered towards her. Aya, Miss Zhao's hands are as beautiful and delicate as flowers, and can play the piano so well. It would be a great melody in heaven and a grand performance on earth. I can't help but be in awe, in awe. Qin Feng came over to Zhao Lingxian and acted extremely admiringly as he continuously clapped and smiled. This sort of shallow flattery made Qin Feng want to vomit. However, he was determined to complete the quest. Zhao Lingxian stared at him in a daze. What the hell was Qin Feng doing? She even began to wonder if he really had publicly rescinded the marriage between them. Could that have just been a dream? Why else would he come over and say such things? However, the surprised look on Zhao Lingxian's face soon disappeared and was replaced by a frigid expression. She was certain that the humiliation of being thrown away by Qin Feng publicly definitely wasn't a dream, but a reality. She looked at him furiously, wanting to dice this hedonistic young master into 1,000 pieces, as she gritted her teeth and said, "Young Master Qin, it seems that your mental illness is acting up again. Do you want to have your medicine first, then come back?" Ahem. There were quite a few people gathered around Zhao Lingxian, and they were all sons of aristocracy and nobility. Qin Feng couldn't help but feel a bit awkward after being called mentally unwell by Zhao Lingxian in front of so many people. After dry coughing, Qin Feng looked at Feng Tianhua, who was evilly grinning, and quickly walked over, using him to change the topic. "Oh, isn't this Lil Feng? You're here as well? How's your father been these days? He hasn't been taken away by someone from above?" "Oh, it's good that he wasn't arrested, that's good." Qin Feng laughed as he patted Feng Tianhua's shoulder, as if he didn't see the other person's darkening face. He didn't even give Feng Tianhua a chance to speak as he continued to ramble on. Zhao Lingxian, who had been stony-faced, suddenly smiled. She had been annoyed by Feng Tianhua the moment she had stepped into the banquet hall, and she inwardly despised him. Seeing Qin Feng mock him like this made her mysteriously feel happier. She never knew Qin Feng had such an interesting side before. Who cares if you can be funny? Since you humiliated this lady in public, I'll definitely make you regret it. Qin Feng's looseness and sensualism was something that almost everyone in the Acropolis city knew about, and was a topic that was often talked about. People often said that whoever married him must have sinned for 8 lifetimes. It was evident just how loose and unbridled Qin Feng was. Zhao Lingxian should have felt fortunate to have avoided that marriage with Qin Feng. However, she was incredibly displeased that Qin Feng had publicly rescinded the marriage. She inwardly vowed that she would make Qin Feng heavily pay. The other young masters all gave up on chasing Zhao Lingxian as they saw Qin Feng and Feng Tianhua jab at each other because of her. They simply couldn't afford to offend these two people. At this moment, a woman walked in wearing a flame-red qipao, with breasts so full that they were almost bursting through it. Her cleavage seemed almost endless and her legs were long and flawless. Anyone who saw her almost had a nosebleed. The woman had golden, curled hair, a round face, high eyebrows, delicate, beautiful facial features, and shining skin. She emitted an air of irresistibility. As she walked in, she immediately attracted everyone's attention. Jincheng City's #1 beauty, Han Ying, is here. Chapter 17. Chapter 17, Acropolis City's 4 Princes. Teaser. Someone in the crowd yelled out and everyone's gaze fell on Han Ying, who was leisurely walking over. Ying's sexy body and flawless looks caused almost every man to drool and their eyes to turn green. At a corner of the banquet hall, 3 lofty and impressive young men dressed in fine clothing sat at a large, round table. From the beginning of the banquet, no one had dared to go over to them. They were equally as famous as Qin Feng, and were the other 3 of Acropolis City's 4 princes, Hao Yun, Zhou Kai, and Sima Tu, from the ancient Sima family. These 3 people minded their own business as they tasted their wine, and weren't at all disturbed by the outside world. When Qin Feng had come in, they shot him a glance. Now that Han Ying had arrived, they all looked over at the #1 beauty of the Jincheng City, each with their own thoughts. Hao Yun got up first and walked towards Han Ying. This young master had long since yearned for Han Ying's beauty. It was only because he heard that Han Ying was attending this gathering did he come. The other 2 had nothing to do, so they came over with Hao Yun to have a look. They hadn't seen Qin Feng in a while and didn't know where he had been recently. He actually hadn't spent any time celebrating with them recently, which was strange for the young master Qin. "Miss Han, you're looking more and more beautiful. Just a single look at you can make anyone's heart beat like crazy." Hao Yun gentlemanly laughed as he came over to Han Ying. Hee hee. Han Ying covered her tender and beautiful red lips as she giggled, and replied in a lovely manner, "Young Master Yun's words are so sweet. You really know how to make a girl happy." "Haha, Miss Han, what I said was the truth. There's not a single bit of flattery in what I said." As Hao Yun spoke, he couldn't help but glance at Han Ying's cleavage. They were white, perky, and deep like a canyon. Han Ying saw this, and a look of contempt momentarily flashed in her eyes, but she continued to smile. "Miss Han, can I have the honor of dancing with you?" Hao Yun secretly gulped down a mouthful of saliva. This #1 beauty of Jincheng City was simply too alluring. Even a hedonistic young master like him who had slept with countless beauties found it difficult to control himself around her. He wished that he could leap on her and take her right there. Han Ying wasn't interested in Hao Yun at all, and she looked around the banquet hall. After looking around, her gaze fell on Qin Feng and her eyes lit up. She covered her mouth as she laughed, saying, "Hee hee, young Master Yun. I'm terribly sorry, but recently I haven't been well enough to dance. I'll take a rain check on that." After saying this, Han Ying left Hao Yun and directly walked towards Qin Feng. "Oh, I was wondering which handsome guy was looking so elegant, like a crane among chickens. It turns out that it was our Acropolis City's #1 hedonist young Master Qin," Han Ying said coyly, in a soft and charming voice. Everyone who heard her voice could almost feel their legs weaken. She was definitely a top-class succubus. She's dressed like a slut, and I bet she's dying to show every man her body. Who knows how many men she's slept with before. Seeing Han Ying acting so flirtatiously around Qin Feng with her face full of desire, Zhao Lingxian strangely felt quite furious and started to inwardly curse at her. Qin Feng's gaze didn't linger on Han Ying. He coolly smiled and stretched out his hand to Zhao Lingxian beside him as he said, "Princess Xian'er, give me some face and dance with me." Zhao Lingxian froze for a second. She was surprised that Qin Feng wasn't like the other males and didn't stare at Han Ying's chest. Instead, he almost completely ignored her. This caused her to feel a mysterious sense of happiness. However, When she remembered that this man had publicly rescinded their marriage, Zhao Lingxian felt like exploding again. She savagely glared at Qin Feng as she said, "You're too late. This young lady doesn't have any time now, nor will she have any time in future. Io, why do you have to be so fierce to our young master Qin?" Not only did Han Ying not mind being ignored, she charmingly smiled and said, "No wonder young Master Qin canceled your wedding. Even I couldn't stand someone with such severe princess syndrome. Isn't it just dancing? Young Master Qin, Ying can dance with you. If you want, we can dance for a whole night." Han Ying already had one hand on Qin Feng's shoulder as she tenderly looked into his eyes, with her breasts pressed up against his chest. The main reason she had come to Acropolis City was to make Qin Feng hers so that the Qin family would join her Han family's business alliance. This would expand business opportunities for both of their families. She had investigated Qin Feng and found that he was a good-for-nothing, hedonistic young master. Han Ying was extremely skilled in dealing with this sort of person. "Who are you saying has princess syndrome? Say it again if you dare," Zhao Lingxian retorted as she coldly glared at Han Ying. Zhao Lingxian's emotions were not in a good state, and she was furious after hearing what Han Ying said. Han Ying was a strong, competent woman and had been dealing with business matters for a long time. She was much calmer and ignored Zhao Lingxian. Instead, she leaned forwards, bringing her flawless face closer to Qin Feng's as she whispered, "Young Master Qin, just ignore those unimportant people. Let's start dancing." A fragrant smell wafted into his nose, and adding on Han Ying's chest pressed up against his, Qin Feng found it difficult to breathe. A top-class succubus indeed. Qin Feng could feel icy glares from men all around him, and he inwardly cursed. Excessive beauty was indeed a calamity. She had barely done anything, but had caused many people to hate Qin Feng. "Haha, we haven't seen young Master Qin for a while. We thought that you had given up on your hedonistic tendencies and became prim and proper. It looks like we were wrong. How could young Master Qin have changed? As the saying goes, a dog can't stop itself from eating crap." Qin Feng didn't know when Hao Yun had walked up next to him. Seeing Han Ying in Qin Feng's embrace, Hao Yun couldn't help but gnash his teeth. A dog can't stop itself from eating crap? Perhaps only the other three princes dared to say such a thing to Qin Feng to his face. It seemed that an interesting scene was about to play out. Qin Feng smiled, and a look of coldness momentarily flashed in his eyes. He put his hand on Hao Yun's shoulder as he said in a low voice, "Young Master Yun, we haven't seen each other for a few days. Do you have something against this young master?" With the elementary Thunder Tiger fists, Qin Feng was completely different to who he was before. Adding on the rank 1 strength potion, a full-powered punch from him could unleash 3 times a normal person's strength. With almost double a normal person's strength, he grabbed Hao Yun with his hand. Hao Yun's expression fell as he grimaced in pain, his face turning a pig-livered color. Chapter 18. Chapter 18. Conquering the Number 1 Beauty. Qin Feng, "Jigoddamit, hurry up and let go." Hao Yun was a wicked and hedonistic young master, but he couldn't take this sort of pain. He glared at Qin Feng, as if he wanted to kill him. "Haha, this is the first time I've seen someone look so arrogant while begging." Qin Feng coldly smirked and applied more pressure. Hao Yun's bones began to creak as Qin Feng said, "Beg. If I'm satisfied with your begging, I'll let go." Hao Yun was so furious that he was on the verge of spitting out blood. Who would have thought that after just a few days, Qin Feng would have become so powerful? Despite this, he, of course, wouldn't beg Qin Feng to let go in front of so many people. However, his arm felt like it was going to break and he couldn't endure that immense pain anymore. "Young Master Qin, Hao Yun didn't mean anything by that. Surely you aren't so heartless, right?" Seeing that Hao Yun almost couldn't endure it anymore, Zhou Kai walked over as he smiled and spoke. "Haha, young Master Zhou." Qin Feng smiled. Although it was very obvious that Zhou Kai and Sima too were on Hao Yun's side, he didn't feel nervous at all. He cleared his throat, as if he was going to give a lecture, and said, "If a murderer killed someone, but said they didn't mean to do it, would the police let him off? If someone raped a beauty but said they didn't mean to do it, would the beauty just acknowledge she was unfortunate? If a rabid dog bit this young master, should I forgive it? If I allowed it, how would I preserve my dignity in Acropolis City? As Qin Feng spoke, he applied even more pressure, to the point where he almost deformed Hao Yun's shoulder and arm. His bones audibly cracked, as if they were fireworks. Hao Yun simply couldn't bear it anymore, and his tears almost came streaming out. He grabbed onto Qin Feng's legs as he pleaded, "Young Master Qin, please let go. I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have said those things. Please spare me." Boom. This scene shocked everyone present like 10,000 bolts of lightning. Acropolis City's 4 princes were all beings that could not be offended, even for the rich and powerful. Yet, here was young Master Yun begging like a dog on the ground for forgiveness. Everyone was almost blinded by this scene. Haha, admitting that you're wrong and being willing to change is good. Good boy, you can continue to play. Qin Feng had acted arrogantly, but he knew when to stop. It wasn't good to push people too far. He patted Hao Yun's head, as though he were complimenting an obedient dog. This scene was simply too beautiful, and some people closed their eyes, unable to wow on. Qin Feng, you'll goddamn regret this. After escaping from Qin Feng, Hao Yun's attitude returned. However, thinking back to Qin Feng's fearsome grip, he could only mutter a few tough words before storming off. After giving Qin Feng a strange smile, Sima Tu and Zhoukai also left with Hao Yun. After the 3 of them left, everyone in the banquet hall seemed to sigh. They were all wondering how Hao Yun was going to have his revenge against Qin Feng. However, Qin Feng didn't mind and instead smiled as he went to curry favor with Zhao Lingxian. If that guy really wanted to take revenge, Qin Feng would welcome him wholeheartedly. Qin Feng did his best to talk about things that would make Zhao Lingxian happy. However, this sort of technique for seducing women was completely ineffective on this proud princess. Feeling helpless, Qin Feng looked at the piano and his eyes suddenly lit up as he strode towards it. He was already the center of everyone's attention, and anything he did would just attract people's gazes. Seeing Qin Feng walk to the piano and sit down, the crowd's jaws dropped. Qin Feng could play the piano? No one could believe such a thing. Everyone believed that he didn't know how to do anything else, apart from sleeping with women. Plus, hadn't he rescinded the marriage between Zhao Lingxian and himself? Why had he been trying to curry favor with her this whole time? Even Qin Feng almost didn't recognize himself. Apart from sleeping with women, he hadn't been good for anything else. Now, because of the quests, he hadn't slept with anyone for many days and had learned a number of skills that he had never even thought of before. This reminded Qin Feng of a famous line from a movie, "Only when life moves on quickly is it exciting." Now, I'll play a come more in front of everyone for the beautiful princess Zhao Lingxian. Qin Feng suddenly spoke, and his white suit sparkled under the light. His handsome face, broad shoulders, and smile made him look like a prince out of a fairy tale. A few famous pieces crossed his mind, and he chose one suitable for the occasion. His 10 fingers, which even a woman would be envious of, began to dance and jump upon the black and white keys. Beautiful music sounded out throughout the entire banquet hall. It was as if Qin Feng had been possessed by the soul of a great pianist. He closed his eyes as he lifted his head up, looking as if he was entranced by the music. He had an air of dignity and nobility about him, and his fingers flowed like water over the piano keys. The music was simply too enchanting, and he couldn't stop. A while later, Qin Feng had finished playing the piano piece, but everyone was still entranced. Its beautiful melody continued to play in their minds, and they couldn't help but admire him. If they hadn't seen and heard him play with their own eyes and ears, they wouldn't have believed such a thing was possible. Qin Feng was able to play the piano with such mastery and had almost reached perfection. "Princess Zhao Lingxian, was that to your satisfaction?" Qin Feng asked, seeing that she was still in a daze. Zhao Lingxian's body shook, and she snapped out of her stupor. Even she, who was studying piano at university, had been completely enthralled by the music. She looked at Qin Feng in shock, unable to speak. She couldn't help but admit that Qin Feng's skill was far above even hers. I'm a bit tired. I'm going now. Qin Feng had acted way too strangely tonight. She suddenly felt that she didn't completely understand this hedonistic young master and didn't know how to face him. Zhao Lingxian left the banquet hall with complicated feelings. Upon seeing her leave, the faces of more than half of the men turned bitter. It seemed that their plans to win her heart had flown out of the window, so they also left. The rest of the people all had their eyes on Han Ying. Qin Feng sat beside the piano, waiting for a system announcement. However, after being met with silence, he sighed, knowing that obtaining Zhao Lingxian's favorability wouldn't be this easy. Young Master Qin, are you free tonight? Let's find a quiet place to murmur endearments to each other. Han Ying's figure once again appeared in front of Qin Feng, and she purposely leaned forwards, revealing her breast to him. Qin Feng casually glanced over and marveled at how large and white they were. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a compulsory quest. Conquer Han Ying. Quest time limit, 3 months. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 500 Hedonist points. Failing will result in the host being impotent for 3 years. God freaking damn it. Even the carefree and magnanimous young Master Qin couldn't help but curse out loud when he heard the punishment. What's more, this was a compulsory quest. Lil Piggy, what's with this compulsory quest? Qin Feng hurriedly asked. Master, this is a compulsory quest issued by the system. You have to accept it. Even the omnipotent little pig can't help you. Qin Feng suddenly felt weak. Conquer Han Ying? That was even more difficult than gaining the favorability of Zhao Lingxian. Han Ying was a famous, strong, and able woman. She was independent, intense, overbearing, and was in charge of 3 listed companies and thousands of workers. She oversaw the management of all of that and was extremely successful. Wanting to conquer such a queenly goddess, Qin Feng felt that he was doomed. Despite how she was sticking to him and flirting with him, Qin Feng knew that these were just normal methods she used to develop her businesses. Who knew how many people had fallen for these tactics? Young Master Qin, are you free? Us brothers want to invite you to the wealthy clubhouse to have some fun. After running into trouble with Qin Feng, Feng Tianhua had spent the whole night in the shadows, observing him. He felt incredibly happy when he saw that there was conflict between Qin Feng and the other 3 princes. Noticing that there was something good going on between Qin Feng and Han Ying, he had hurriedly rushed over to ruin things for him. You want to stop me from pursuing Zhao Lingxian? I'll stop you from getting in with Han Ying. If Qin Feng had known what Feng Tianhua was thinking, he would have thanked him for helping him out. Seeing Feng Tianhua come over, Han Ying raised her eyebrows and hurriedly stood up, ceasing the service she was giving Qin Feng as she said, since young Master Qin is busy tonight, let's postpone to a later date. Staring at Han Ying's bare back, Feng Tianhua inwardly burned with anger. He was incredibly displeased that the women who had ignored him had been around Qin Feng instead. However, remembering that someone was going to teach him a lesson, he felt much better. The wealthy clubhouse was on level 3 of the Royal Hotel and was a famous soapland. It was the largest in Acropolis City and provided the best service. Qin Feng didn't know why Feng Tianhua had invited him here, but since he had come, he wanted to see what he was up to. Yo! Young Master Qin and young Master Feng have graced us with their presence. Please come in. I'll call of our young girls out. I'm sure you'll be satisfied. Just as the 2 of them entered the hall, a madam with heavy makeup rushed over. By greeting Qin Feng first and from the way that she addressed them, she acknowledged that Qin Feng held a higher status. Qin Feng didn't care about this, but Feng Tianhua was so angry that he gnashed his teeth. However, thinking to the fact that Qin Feng was about to be punished, he smiled, saying, Young Master Qin, you must be a regular here. If you have anyone who regularly services you, call them over. It doesn't matter if it's 1 person or 10. It's all on me, Feng Tianhua. All I want is for you to be happy and to make friends with you. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. Talisman of Lucidity. Haha, isn't this just a massage place? I don't really mind. Anyone is fine. Qin Feng casually laughed, going along with Feng Tianhua's act. Young Master Qin is being so humble. I heard that any one of the women you've been with is an absolute beauty. I'm not as experienced, so I'll just choose some of the best for young Master Qin. Feng Tianhua gave a fake smile and started to look at the long-legged beauties. They all wore revealing clothing and more than half their skin was exposed, which gave the hall an amorous feeling. Feng Tianhua started to feel dizzy. They were all extremely stunning, and every one of them was an excellent beauty. He even started to feel envious of Qin Feng. Why did he have to be born to such a good father? He had probably slept with all of these beauties before. After looking around, Feng Tianhua gritted his teeth and chose 3 of the most beautiful ladies. He chose a lowly, a sexy older sister, and a pure-looking maiden. There was bound to be at least one that Qin Feng was interested in. Young Master Qin, are these 3 suitable for your tastes? Looking at the 3 women he chose, even he wanted to jump on them. Sure, these 3 it is then. Qin Feng casually looked at the 3 women. He wasn't in the mood to do anything with them, and was instead carefully observing Feng Tianhua. Alrighty, you 3 go with young Master Qin tonight then. Make sure you make him feel good tonight. Got it? The 3 chosen women couldn't hide their looks of excitement, and they all smiled as they came to Qin Feng's side. You 2, come with me. After arranging things for Qin Feng, Feng Tianhua evilly smirked. He didn't even look at the remaining women and just casually chose 2 as he pretended to be extremely eager. Young Master Qin, I simply can't wait anymore, so I'm going to take these girls for the night of their lives. I have already arranged room 666 for you. When you're done, we'll meet in the sauna. Feng Tianhua lewdly smiled towards Qin Feng and hurriedly took the girls and left. Qin Feng wanted to stop him, but he had already disappeared. Feng Tianhua rushed to room 665 and locked the door. However, he didn't push down the 2 women, but took out his phone and dialed it. Very soon, the call connected. Young Master Ma, everything has progressed smoothly. Qin Feng has been brought over, and a good play is about to begin. A deep voice replied, very good. As soon as they begin, tell your dad to make the arrest. Video evidence is the most persuasive evidence, so make sure you take care of it. Don't worry, young Master Ma. All right. Qin Feng entered his room. Feng Tianhua suddenly hung up and stared at the laptop on the table. The screen displayed the scene within room 666. At this moment, Qin Feng walked into the room while hugging the 3 women. Young Master Qin, I'm called Kuer. I'm the best at deep-throating, and will make young Master Qin feel like he's flying. Young Master Qin, I'm called Nana. My service is very unique as well. Make sure you try it out, young Master Qin. Young Master Qin, my uniform play is incredibly sexy. The 3 women all fought for Qin Feng's attention, and all pretended to be extremely cute. To be able to serve Qin Feng was like winning the lottery for these women. What if the young Master Qin took a fancy to them? They would become phoenixes. Qin Feng chatted and laughed with the women, and would occasionally touch them here and there as he grinned. However, his mind was furiously thinking. Feng Tianhua had suddenly tried to get closer to him, causing Qin Feng to become wary. He had even arranged 3 women for him, which caused Qin Feng to further sense that something was wrong. After thinking for a while, Qin Feng couldn't work anything out, so he decided to talk to the little pig. Lil Piggy, do you know which room Feng Tianhua is in and what he's doing? The little pig pouted, looking as if it had just woken up as it lazily said, Master, how am I meant to know? Goddamn, aren't you always boasting that you're an omnipotent little pig? Qin Feng said. Of course I'm the omnipotent little pig, but Master doesn't have enough hedonist points, which has limited my abilities. The little pig said as it looked at Qin Feng scornfully. Qin Feng's mouth chewed, unsure of what to say. Luckily, the little pig continued to speak. If you want to see which room Feng Tianhua is in, that's simple. Master can just buy a talisman of lucidity that just so happens to be 50 hedonist points. All right, I'll buy one. After thinking it through, Qin Feng spent 50 hedonist points to buy a talisman of lucidity. He knew that there was something suspicious about Feng Tianhua, and without knowing what it was, he couldn't be at ease. Qin Feng's heart ached as he weighed his hedonist points fall to 0. A yellow talisman suddenly appeared in his hand. There seemed to be a line of ancient characters written with red cinnabar on it. Qin Feng looked at it and found that he didn't recognize a single character. Master, as long as you silently say that you're using the talisman of lucidity, the talisman will activate, allowing you to see through things for half an hour, the little pig said as it rolled its eyes. It looked quite proud of itself, which made Qin Feng want to beat it up. If he could enter the hedonist sovereign system, he would smack its but until it flowered up. Why didn't you say so earlier? While he complained, his heart dripped blood. Spending 50 hedonist points to see through things for half an hour seemed like a massive waste. However, since things were already like this, he could only silently say that he was using the talisman of lucidity, and the talisman in his hand disappeared. When Qin Feng looked up, he found that the revealing clothes on the 3 women had become transparent as air. Those fiery and curvy bodies caused a flame to burn within Qin Feng's heart. No, this young master is on serious business, Qin Feng said as he quickly suppressed the fire burning within him and looked away towards the wall. The thick walls all became transparent, as if he was looking through a clear frame. From their room, he could even see the place he had been before on the top floor. After doing some practice, Qin Feng could easily control the transparency and range of his sight, and he could see whatever he wanted. However, he didn't feel pleased at all, because after looking around for a long time, he still couldn't find Feng Tianhua. Instead, he had looked at almost every person's naked figure in every room. However, the feeling of being able to see but not being able to touch was both delightful and painful. This young master doesn't believe he can't find him. Where did that little scumbag go? Qin Feng felt quite annoyed and started to look around again. This time, he looked through every single room carefully. Finally, he found that he was actually right next to him in room 665. He was eating melon seeds as he looked at a laptop screen with great interest. On the laptop screen was himself. A rush of killing intent spread through Qin Feng's body. His expression darkened, and he could roughly guess Feng Tianhua's goal. He probably wanted to secretly record footage of him to use as blackmail. It seemed that this brat was seeking death. He actually dared to try such a thing on him. Qin Feng could already see the scene of Feng Tianhua bloodied and bruised while kneeling and begging for forgiveness in front of him. Wait, this was the Royal Hotel. How could there be a secret camera in his room? Suddenly, Qin Feng realized that there was a serious issue, which was that the Royal Hotel had employed a mole who was helping Feng Tianhua. That person must have installed the camera in room 666, and from Feng Tianhua's actions, they seem to have prepared for a long time. Qin Feng never would have thought that Feng Tianhua would be able to bribe a high-ranking employee of the Royal Hotel. After all, it would be impossible for a normal employee to install a camera in this room. This young master has some things to take care of. You 3 stay in here and don't run off, Qin Feng said as he grinned and walked out of the room. He was going to have some tea with Feng Tianhua. After walking out, he stood with his back leaning against the door of room 665. He couldn't open the door without the room card, but with the talisman of lucidity, he could see what was going on inside the room. Feng Tianhua looked extremely worried, because on the laptop, Qin Feng had walked out the door. Feng Tianhua had no idea where he went, and after enduring it for a few minutes, he couldn't sit still anymore. He was afraid that something would go wrong with the plan, and hurriedly opened the door to go out and find Qin Feng. Just as he stepped out, he heard a laugh, which frightened him and caused him to fall flat on his face. Yo, young Master Feng, it turns out you were having fun in the room next to mine. Heh, what are you doing? Why are you kneeling as soon as you see this young master? It's not Chinese New Year yet, so even if you kneel for me, I won't give you any celebratory money. Qin Feng laughed and felt delighted as he looked at Feng Tianhua rolling around on the ground. Feng Tianhua smashed into the ground, and he felt as if his face was going to open up. He gritted his teeth to endure the pain. He quickly calmed himself down, believing that Qin Feng was here out of coincidence. It was impossible for him to find out about his plot, unless he could see through walls. Young Master Qin, please don't joke like that. You came out of nowhere and gave me a big fright. That's right. Why are you here and not enjoying those three beauties? Feng Tianhua asked. Haha, I thought that there aren't enough people, so it's not very exciting. I'm thinking of bringing them to your room. 2 men and 5 women. Isn't that stimulating? Brat, you're a pretty good actor. This young master wants to see how long you can act for. Chapter 20. Chapter 20, Feigning Ignorance. As he spoke, an evil smile appeared on Qin Feng's face. After he had finished speaking, he leapt into Feng Tianhua's room. Feng Tianhua was still moaning on the ground, but when he saw this, he almost crapped himself. He ignored the pain and hurriedly crawled up as he ran into the room. As soon as he entered the room, Feng Tianhua rushed to the laptop and used his body to prevent Qin Feng from seeing it. If Qin Feng saw this, then he was screwed. The Qin family could send people over in just minutes to destroy him. Qin Feng knew exactly what Feng Tianhua was thinking. So what if he was blocking the laptop? Qin Feng could still see through him. He smiled at Feng Tianhua, saying, Lil Feng, why haven't you started yet? All right, let's go together. The more the merrier, eh? Young Master Qin, don't. Please don't. My tastes aren't as heavy as yours, and I simply can't do such a thing. As Qin Feng walked over, Feng Tianhua erupted into a cold sweat and hurriedly stopped him, terrified he would discover what he had been doing. Lil Feng, don't be shy. We're both men. All right, I'll go first so you feel better. Qin Feng was done toying with Feng Tianhua and suddenly pulled him aside. His gaze landed on the laptop as he feigned shock, saying, Lil Feng, so you like taking videos of these things, eh? Wait a second. This scene on your laptop looks so familiar. Isn't this my room? Lil Feng, what are you doing? Qin Feng's amicable smile disappeared, and his face darkened as he stared at Feng Tianhua. Feng Tianhua could feel the hairs on his body standing on end. His legs became soft, and he was so frightened that he fell to the ground. He didn't even have the strength to make excuses. Seeing how terrified Feng Tianhua was, Qin Feng inwardly laughed. He had feigned ignorance for such a long time because he was worried that his talisman of lucidity would be exposed. He could only coincidentally find out about Feng Tianhua's plan. Even if there were other people spying, Qin Feng had nothing to worry about. Lil Feng, were you trying to toy with me? I actually treated you as close as my hands and feet and wanted to become friends with you, but you actually did such a thing behind my back. Since you've been so heartless, don't accuse me of being unjust. As he spoke, he slapped out with his hand. Feng Tianhua was just about to beg for mercy, but it was too late. His skinny frame was sent flying. Lil Feng, you've truly disappointed me. You know, although I hit your face, I feel the pain inside my heart. Before Feng Tianhua could spit out the blood in his mouth, Qin Feng slapped him again, this time sending 2 of his front teeth flying. At this moment, Feng Tianhua felt like dying. Inwardly, he screamed, Goddamn. You're saying how your heart aches, and yet you're still hitting me so hard. That slap would have crushed your heart. After being slapped twice, Feng Tianhua's handsome face became incredibly swollen, making him look like a pig. Qin Feng let out a breath and sat down on the sofa. It wasn't that he was tired, but that his hand ached after hitting Feng Tianhua so hard. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Intimidate Feng Tianhua and find out who is the mastermind behind him. Quest time limit: 3 days. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 100 Hedonist points. Failing will result in the host being sent to jail. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Identify the mole in the Royal Hotel. Quest time limit: 7 days. Successfully completing the quest will result in you receiving 100 Hedonist points. Failing will result in the host losing his shares in the Royal Hotel. Shares in the Royal Hotel? The second quest issued by the Hedonist sovereign system puzzled Qin Feng. If he remembered correctly, he didn't own any shares. After pondering about it for a while, Qin Feng took out his phone and called Uncle Fu, asking, "Uncle Fu, did my dad transfer some shares in the Royal Hotel to me?" When Uncle Fu heard this question, a look of surprise flitted across his eyes. He knew Qin Feng owned shares in the Royal Hotel, and that wasn't all. Recently, Mr. Qin had secretly transferred a large number of shares to Qin Feng. Only he and Mr. Qin knew about this. How did the young master find out about it? That's right, young master. Mr. Qin has already transferred all of his shares in the Royal Hotel to young master. After hesitating for a moment, Uncle Fu decided to tell Qin Feng the truth. All right, I got it. Qin Feng hung up and thought for a moment, but couldn't work out what his father was thinking. However, his main focus wasn't on the shares, but on the two quests the system had just issued. These two quests could only be completed through severe interrogation. Qin Feng went through his call logs and called a number. Looks like this young master needs to find a helper to interrogate people for him. He simply wasn't cut out for this since his hand hurt after hitting people. Young Master Qin, do you have any orders? Zhang Biao was currently drinking at a bar. Seeing that Qin Feng had called him, he quickly ducked over to a quiet place before answering. Come to room 665 at the Royal Hotel alone. Be as quick as possible. Qin Feng ended the call and smiled as he looked at Feng Tianhua, which caused goosebumps to erupt along Fin Tianhua's skin. 10 minutes later, Zhang Biao rushed over. Seeing the scene in the room with the two men and two women, he felt a bit shocked and couldn't understand what was going on. During this period of time, Feng Tianhua had continuously tried to sweet-talk Qin Feng, begging him to let him go. However, Qin Feng completely ignored him and didn't even bother speaking to Feng Tianhua. When Zhang Biao arrived, he stood up and asked, Zhang Biao, how many people have you killed before? Zhang Biao's mouth chewed and almost fell over in shock. He never thought that as soon as he entered the room, before he even had the opportunity to breathe, Qin Feng would directly ask such a question. After hesitating for a moment, Zhang Biao gritted his teeth and truthfully replied, 3. When Zhang Biao spoke, the two women were scared stiff. They generally knew what sort of person Zhang Biao was. After hearing that he had already killed 3 people, could it be that Qin Feng wanted to silence them all? Wasn't that how all the TV shows played out? Why, young Master Qin and this muscular brother? We didn't hear anything. Our ears suddenly started buzzing just then, and we suddenly couldn't hear anything. The two women hurriedly spoke, and they were no less scared than Feng Tianhua. Qin Feng was quite amused by the reactions of the two women, and Zhang Biao had no idea what they were on about. Finally, Qin Feng waved, saying, You two can go out. As long as you don't say anything silly, you'll be fine. Thank you, young Master Qin. Thank you, muscular brother. Having regained their freedom, the two women ran for their lives. There were now 3 people left in room 665. Very good. After the two women left, Qin Feng came to Zhang Biao's side. He had long since asked Uncle Fu to investigate Zhang Biao, and already knew all of this. Seeing that Zhang Biao hadn't lied, he smiled and patted his shoulder, asking, So do you mind adding on another one to that? Chapter 21. Chapter 21. So it was him? Even if Zhang Biao was an idiot, he would have realized that Qin Feng had called him over to express his determination. Once he did this for Qin Feng, he would become trusted by Qin Feng and would truly follow him. He would unswervingly serve Qin Feng from that point onwards. It was just that when he saw Feng Tianhua pitifully kneeling on the ground, the muscles on his face chewed. Having mixed in the underworld for so long, he recognized most of the Acropolis city's bureaucrats. In front of him was the only son of the bureau chief of the police force, Feng Dewei. If Qin Feng wanted him to kill this person, Zhang Biao really wasn't sure if he could do it. Young Master Qin, please speak. Zhang Biao hesitantly said. You should know Feng Tianhua, so I won't bother with introductions. This little scoundrel wanted to plot against this young master. Luckily, I discovered his plot. I want you to finish him off and unswervingly follow me from now on. I guarantee that you'll be treated well." What he had dreaded now became a reality. Zhang Biao felt that this was the most difficult decision he had made in his life, and simply couldn't decide. On one side was young Master Qin, and on the other was the son of the bureau chief of the police force. Zhang Biao's head almost exploded from thinking. After going through some intense but necessary internal conflict in which he compared Qin Feng and Feng Tianhua's backgrounds, Zhang Biao gritted his teeth and came before Feng Tianhua. "You little scoundrel, are you blind? You dared to offend young Master Qin, so you deserve to die." Zhang Biao's large hands gripped Feng Tianhua's neck, and his expression became savage. He expressed his decision through his actions. He was large and muscular, whereas Feng Tianhua was like a skinny monkey. In Zhang Biao's hands, he seemed like a baby chick as he struggled. "Goddamn, Zhang Biao, you're friggin' crazy. I'm the only son of your elder Feng Dewei. If you dare to do anything to me, I'll get my dad to destroy your gang." Feng Tianhua was utterly terrified. Usually, Feng Tianhua would run away as fast as possible from a thug like Zhang Biao, like a mouse seeing a cat. However, he knew that once this sort of person made up their mind, they would do everything in their power to fulfill their mission. At this moment, Feng Tianhua could already see himself strangled to death by Zhang Biao. Wait, seeing that the whites of Feng Tianhua's eyes were showing, and that he couldn't even speak, Qin Feng calmly spoke. Zhang Biao quickly let go, and he sat on the ground heavily, breathing raggedly. He was already covered in cold sweat. This was what someone from an upper-class family was like. A single word could decide someone's life or death. "Lil Feng, it doesn't seem like you're someone who would dare to plot against me. Was there anyone directing you? As long as you tell me, I can consider forgiving you," Qin Feng said as he smiled and walked over to Feng Tianhua. Feng Tianhua knew just how close he had been to death, and his mental defenses had all fallen apart. He was just operating under someone else's orders, and definitely didn't want to give up his life for such a thing. Moreover, if he truly angered Qin Feng, it would be difficult for his Feng family to continue existing in the Acropolis city. Without hesitating at all, Feng Tianhua started to spit out words. "Young Master Qin, please be magnanimous and spare this little one." This little one had eyes but did not recognize Mount Tai, and was stupid enough to easily believe other people. "I don't have the guts to plot against you. It was all that Ma Dehu, that bastard, who told me to do all of this. Everything was under his orders. Young Master Qin, please forgive me." Haha, so it was him? Hearing Ma Dehu's name, Qin Feng coldly smiled. Last time, in order to complete the quest to save Yun Xiao, he had become enemies with Ma Dehu. Qin Feng had ignored him after that, but it seemed that that guy had started to make trouble for him. "Very good. Tell me the name of the mole who put the camera in the Royal Hotel, and you can leave." After he heard the system announcement that he had completed the quest, Qin Feng knew that Feng Tianhua wasn't lying. As such, he decided to see if he could complete the second quest as well. "Young Master Qin, that, I really don't know. Ma Dehu planted the mole, and I was only in charge of bringing you over. This Royal Hotel belongs to your dad, and I definitely don't have the ability to bribe such a high-ranking employee." Feng Tianhua was so scared that he continuously kowtowed. From how terrified he looked, it didn't seem like he was lying. Although he hadn't been able to expose the mole, Qin Feng wasn't worried. Since that person was planted by Ma Dehu, he could just find him and get the answer from his own mouth. Since he obtained the information that he wanted, Qin Feng shot Zhang Biao a glance. Zhang Biao immediately understood and punched Feng Tianhua in the head, knocking him out. Of course, Qin Feng wouldn't let Feng Tianhua off so easily. This was what it meant to cut weeds and eliminate the roots. Qin Feng's personality was one where if a person left him alone, he would leave them alone. However, if they conspired against him, he would pull up the roots of their entire family. Qin Feng pulled out his phone and called Uncle Fu, asking him to make arrangements for Feng Tianhua. Afterwards, he gave Zhang Biao some things to do and swaggered out of the Royal Hotel. It was time to find Ma Dehu for some tea. What sort of tea should he give him? Chrysanthemum tea, Qin Feng thought as he evilly laughed. Uncle Fu, have you traced the phone number that I sent to you? Qin Feng asked in his black Batmobile as he drove like a hurricane. He had sent Mada Hu's phone number to Uncle Fu so he could track him down. Uncle Fu felt a bit complicated. He had always been protecting Qin Feng from the shadows, and he already knew what had happened at the Royal Hotel. Before Qin Feng had done anything, he had already secretly sent a message to Qin Huang and started to collect black evidence against Feng Dewei so he could report him and get him removed. However, he never would have thought that Qin Feng already had a plan, and had used this event to force Zhang Biao to follow him unreservedly. Even Uncle Fu was surprised to see such a resourceful, collected, and murderously decisive Qin Feng. Was this still that good-for-nothing young master who only knew how to sleep with girls? Young master, it will take around 10 minutes to accurately pinpoint his location, Uncle Fu replied. That's fine. Make sure you let me know as soon as you've found it. Just as Qin Feng ended his call with Uncle Fu, his phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and felt quite shocked. It was Mada Hu. After hesitating for a moment, he picked up the call. Hello? Just as he was feeling annoyed about not being able to find Mada Hu, that guy had actually delivered himself up. He was quite a bold one. Ha ha ha, young Master Qin. Are you trying to look for your elder right now? Mada Hu's cold laugh came through the phone. Feng Tianhua, that idiot was just a chess piece. So what if you saw through his plot? Your elder's at the factory on Metro Road 83, as well as that sexy teacher of yours, Yun Xiao. If you don't get here within 20 minutes, your elder won't be able to stop himself from jumping on her. Ha ha ha. Chapter 22. Chapter 22. Alone in Enemy Lines. Who are you all? Let me go. I'm going to call the police to arrest you. Qin Feng frowned when he heard Yun Zhao's scream and Mada Hu's unbridled laughter. Qin Feng made preparations to face Mada Hu since the mere son of an underworld gang leader dared to be so impudent towards him. If Qin Feng was like the person he was before, he would not have entered the enemy lines by himself. He simply would have asked Uncle Fu to deal with it. However, Qin Feng's heart softened after hearing Yun Zhao's desperate and dismal cries for help. Moreover, he also had the quest to make Yun Xiao have a favorable impression of him. The quest time limit of 10 days was quickly approaching. If he failed the quest, he would be despised by all the females around him for 1 year, which Qin Feng simply couldn't risk. Perhaps this risk was a great opportunity. Qin Feng stopped hesitating and pressed down on the accelerator, and the Lamborghini shot through the bustling streets. 15 minutes later, he arrived at the number 83 abandoned factory. By this time, night had fallen, and it was quite dark in the suburban districts. There was only some scattered light coming from within the factory. Qin Feng looked around him and saw that there was no one around, and thus walked into the factory. After walking into the factory, he found that it was completely dark, except a single room where there was a bit of light. Qin Feng gripped his fists as he walked over. Opening the door, he found that the room was about 100 square meters and was quite spacious. He saw a table and a sofa, as well as Yun Xiao trussed up with rope as she sat huddled against a corner. A red handprint was on her face. Evidently, she had been slapped quite a few times. Mada Hu was casually lying on the sofa as he smoked. Behind him stood 4 bodyguards in suits. As soon as he saw Qin Feng come in, he laughed as he stood up and walked over to Qin Feng. Young Master Qin, it seems that we're bound by fate. We've met once again. Mada Hu looked at Yun Xiao struggling in the corner, then at Qin Feng as the grin on his face became wider. Who would have thought that the loose and unruly, hedonistic young Master Qin would have come alone to act as a hero saving a beauty? Your elder is filled with respect. Ha ha ha. This young master's quite busy, so if you have something to say, spit it out. If you're holding in a fart, hurry up and let it out, Qin Feng said emotionlessly as he cut off Mada Hu. Goddamn, Qin Feng, you've already friggin' fallen into your elder's hands, but you're still acting so goddamn arrogantly. Do you think everyone's afraid of your title as the young master of the Qin family? Today, your elder will. Mada Hu suddenly turned hostile as he grabbed Qin Feng's tie. However, before he could finish his sentence, Qin Feng landed a punch on his abdomen. A muffled noise sounded out as Ma Dahu howled. Qin Feng put all of his strength into that punch. After drinking the strength potion and using the Thunder Tiger Fists, his punch had the force of 150 kilograms behind it. Just that single punch was enough to make Ma Dahu cough up blood. I already told you that I'm busy. I had to give you a punch before you stopped talking. Qin Feng complained unhappily as he tidied his sharp-looking suit. Ma Dahu, who was howling on the ground, was so angry that he felt his lungs were going to explode. After quite a while, he was finally able to breathe again as he loudly cursed, "Fudge! Go and see this brat for your elder. Your elder's going to kill him." Ma Dahu was so furious that both of his eyes were red, which made him look like a beast. The 4 bodyguards obeyed and leapt towards Qin Feng. Qin Feng had long since been observing those 4 people and saw that they were all skilled in fighting. He was now surrounded by the 4 of them, and the powerful auras they emitted made him feel a bit uncomfortable. The 4 people roared as they swung their fists towards Qin Feng. Their movements were clean and precise, and skillfully combined both offense and defense. Indeed, these 4 people were not ordinary people, but rather veterans from the army. With the Thunder Tiger Fists, Qin Feng was also a force to be reckoned with. However, as a young master who had just started fighting, it would be quite difficult for him to beat these 4 veterans who had a wealth of experience. It was incredibly difficult for one pair of fists to contend against 4, and Qin Feng quickly found himself at a disadvantage. In just a few bouts, Qin Feng had been hit all over his body, and his body ached whenever he moved. "Lil Piggy, hurry up and help me or Big Brother's going to die." Qin Feng couldn't feel any strength in his body. If this went on, he definitely wouldn't be able to leave today. In his desperation, he looked to the little pig for help. "Little Master, according to the Hedonist Sovereign System's calculations, you're no ma for these 4 people. You only have 100 Hedonist points, which can't help much." The little pig rambled for a while, making Qin Feng feel so angry that he felt as if he was going to vomit blood. Luckily, it continued to speak. "Master can try to complete the quest to obtain Yun Zhao's favorability and obtain the 100 Hedonist points reward. That way, Master can buy a rank 2 strength potion to increase his power. Adding on the True Steel Sword, Master will be able to unleash surprising effects and counterattack beautifully, turning the tables on his enemies." Qin Feng was slightly startled and he asked, "Rank 2 strength potion? And 200 Hedonist points? Why is it so expensive? Wasn't the previous strength potion just 100 Hedonist points?" "Master, strength potions go from rank 1 to rank 2. Under different body conditions, you can use different potions. After consuming the rank 1 strength potion, you can only become stronger by consuming rank 2 and above strength potions. Rank 1 strength potions are 100 Hedonist points, rank 2 strength potions are 200 Hedonist potions, and so on." As Qin Feng was feeling quite frustrated, a heavy kick hit him in the stomach. He was completely unprepared for this kick, and he flew out and landed next to Yun Zhao. He didn't even have the strength to stand anymore. Seeing this, Ma Dahu's sullen face burst into a smile of delight as he laughed, saying, "Haha, capture him. Hurry up and capture him for your elder. Tie up this brat, your elder wants to toy with him till he dies." 2 of the bodyguards quickly brought over string, tied Qin Feng up, and threw him into the corner with Yun Zhao. Ma Dahu came in front of Qin Feng and placed a foot on his body as he said triumphantly, "Young Master Qin, oh, young Master Qin, who would have thought that you would fall into such straits? I thought you were good at fighting? Hit your elder. If you're so great, then come hit me." "Haha, eat crap. You're just a toy in your elder's hands now. Your elder can abuse you however he wants now." Ma Dahu kicked Qin Feng many times, feeling incredibly spirited. Qin Feng gritted his teeth as he endured the pain, not letting out any sound. He was currently very calm. He continuously thought of how to complete Yun Zhao's quest. Only then did he have a chance at turning the tables. "Ma Dahu, tell me, what was your objective with all this meticulous planning?" Qin Feng knew that someone was trying to take down the Qin family. Ma Dahu didn't have the ability to do such a thing alone. He definitely had a powerful backer supporting him. Qin Feng wanted to find out who was the mastermind behind this. If he could survive, he would definitely tell his dad and CA them in one fell swoop. Haha, my objective? To finish off your Qin family, of course. Mada Hu laughed as he took out his phone and shook it in front of Qin Feng as he said, "Your elder's going to call Qin Huang in a bit and tell him that his brat is in my hands. I'm going to ask him to transfer all of the shares in the large businesses to me, otherwise your elder will take your life. What do you think? Will your dad do it?" Mada Hu laughed wilder and wilder while Qin Feng frowned. He knew that if his dad found out that he had been kidnapped, he would pay any price to save him. After seeing that Mada Hu had already made the call, Qin Feng in his desperation looked at Yuan Shao with a gaze as tender and soft as water. He struggled to speak as he coughed out, "Teacher Yuan Shao, are you all right?" Yuan Shao was startled and looked at Qin Feng with tearful eyes. This was the first time he had addressed her as teacher so sincerely. This Qin Feng, who ignored all class rules, had a terrifying background, and acted so loosely and carelessly, had left many scars of contempt on Yuan Zhao's heart. 2 days ago, because of his ruckus in class, she had wanted to bite Qin Feng to death. Afterwards, because she thought he wanted to rape her, she hated him even more. However, at this moment, she realized that she had completely misunderstood Qin Feng. Qin Feng wasn't together with these people. At least, he wouldn't use his life to put on such an act. That would be a bit too excessive. "I'm all right. Qin Feng, are you okay? Your teacher wrongly blamed you." Yuan Shao looked at Qin Feng with an expression full of worry. She suddenly felt that being disruptive in class was something normal for youths at this age. They were naughty and lively, but deep down, they had a good nature. In order to save her, Qin Feng had come by himself and put himself in danger. "I feel that I won't be able to hold on for too long. Teacher Yuan Shao, you're the most beautiful and talented teacher I've ever met. However, I'm too powerless and can't save you from here tonight. If there's a next life, I want to continue being your student and learn from you. If there's a time limit put on our relationship as teacher and student, I hope it's at least 10,000 years." As he spoke, Qin Feng used up the last bit of strength he had and closed his eyes. "Whoa, Qin Feng, you'll be fine. You have to hang on." Yuan Shao grabbed onto Qin Feng's hands as her tears fell. "Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for completing the quest to make teacher Yuan Shao have a favorable impression of you. You have received the reward of 100 hedonist points." "Holy crap! I actually succeeded!" Qin Feng yelled out inwardly. It seemed that those classic phrases were quite useful. He had seemed like he was on the verge of death, but after hearing this system announcement, he almost jumped up in excitement. Even he was amazed by his acting skills. For him, not to become a star actor was a tragedy for the acting world. Moi. In his excitement, Qin Feng gave Yuan Shao a big kiss on her cheek. Yuan Shao was completely dumbfounded and looked at Qin Feng in shock as her cheeks became bright red. Qin Feng didn't put any thought into that. He had simply kissed her out of sheer excitement. With a slight thought, he hurriedly opened the Hedonist Sovereign system and bought a Rank 2 Strength Potion. Rank 2 Strength Potion. After completely absorbing the potion's effects, the host's strength will be raised to 3. Without thinking, Qin Feng drank all of the contents of the Rank 2 Strength Potion. A wave of warmth immediately spread throughout his body. His body, which had felt completely weak, suddenly felt as if it was bursting with power and would explode at any moment. This sudden increase in strength made him want to find someone and wildly fight. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.